Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Back to another episode of Late Night Siege on a great Friday night here. Of course, joining me as always is Devmarta. It's not bad, sorry guys, but hey, we've got Dev. Yay! It is. Yep. Yep. Yeah, so I'm super keen to be going through droning and problem solving. The problem solving thing, I think, is an issue that a lot of players have faced at one time or another and continue to face because obviously there's a lot to Siege. And it's basically just like you see things and it stalls you out. And we'll go through all the different options and what you can do to try and think through the process a bit quicker and a bit more critically. But things like if you see a shield and you're not sure how to deal with that, if the wall is reinforced and you need to open that for an objective, all those kinds of things. Maybe if you identify a roamer and you're not exactly sure how to clear out the roamer, or if you even should, we'll talk about like how to approach those situations, how to look at it and decide what might be the best course of action. Yeah. You're muted, by the way, Dev.
That's
yeah,
a classic.
apparently you're muted.
That's a classic.
I just opened chat back up and saw you've been muted.
You know what? I unmuted the background track, like the animated background that doesn't have any audio, instead of unmuting my mic. So that's a good one. Look, guys, sometimes you gotta mute Dev because he talks too much. But Raven, I wouldn't want you to carry the show any more than you already are. Welcome back, guys. Sorry about that one. What I was saying is, well, at least you got to hear me, Raven. What I was saying is we're going to start in custom games, as we always do, and try it in a safe environment. We're going to get to demonstrate what you mean by like how to problem solve setups and stuff. Then we'll go into quick match, and we're going to try it in a real environment as well, which is going to be cool, whether it's that pesky Jaeger running around upstairs or whatever, or it's a shield or a bandit trick. Whatever, we're going to go through that. But this is a classic, Dev. Thanks, Raven, for roasting me in the chat while I'm talking.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be done. So.
Someone's got to do it. And look, since we don't have the guests here, that responsibility falls entirely on you. So far, you're not letting us down, mate. So good on you.
Yeah, I've got to let the viewers know too that like it's just a rite of passage that Dev gets roasted in general. Like it's not just on the show. It's not for no reason. Like we play ranked, people roast you. People hang out, they roast you. Like casting, they roast you.
Yeah, I actually have natural. I have this like notepad open on my desktop at all times. It's actually a counter of how many seconds it takes when I join a Discord call until I get roasted. And at the moment, it's never past 30 seconds. So it'd be like that sometimes. Well, Raven, we talked about the problem solving. We're also going through droning, which we'll do first. Now, this is a giant can of worms, and I know when we were talking about planning this episode, you could talk about this for years.
I could talk about droning for a long time because there's a lot of wrong ways to drone. And I mean, and then one way as well, it's a very creative thing to be doing in the game. You can drone in a lot of different ways, whether it's to be finding the bomb site, whether it's to be hunting down a roamer, setting up a flank drone, prep phase drone, which is not always, pursuing bomb site or pursuing an operator. It's actually about setting it up in a certain spot of the map for a very particular reason. There's so many facets to it that a lot of people probably are missing out on, and I'm really keen to be able to talk about it in depth because there is a lot there, and it is a really big part of the game. The whole intel collection thing for the attackers in particular is so critical to be accurate because otherwise it can really derail your attacks.
And what's really cool about that is the droning side of things and the problem solving, they're actually linked because you've got to drone out the setups that you're going to problem solve. So we're going to talk about that. Yeah. It's going to be a beautiful little segue. But look, we kind of haven't really done this yet. So I figured, like, welcome if you're a new viewer, welcome if you're a returning viewer. But if you are maybe new, you don't know who are these two beautiful, handsome men that are talking to me tonight. I feel like we may as well just give a little bit of a blurb. Raven, I already mentioned that you have professional Rainbow Six experience as a player and a coach. Give us a lowdown. Like, why should we listen to you when you tell me how to drone?
Yeah, so I mean, like, I did play competitively for 2 years, and that was at all kinds of levels. I played all those kind of grassroots tournaments back in my day. It was ESL Community Cups and Cyber Gamer Ladder or weekly tournaments. That is now LPL, and then I also played Challenger League for a couple of seasons. I played Pro League, and then I also moved into coaching, and I coached at the Pro League level. I coached for about 12 months. And while I was coaching at Pro League level, and up until very recently, I've still been doing freelance coaching with players from all around the world. Worked with players from America, South America, Europe, and right now I'm actually working very actively with a team that's in Italy in Europe, helping them try and improve a lot so that they can try and qualify for their national league. So yeah, I've had a lot of experience with all kinds of level of Rainbow Six.
So what you're telling me is when you tell me that I'm doing something wrong or that I'm doing something right, I should probably, suck up my ego and listen to you.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, who am I? Well, I mean, I don't have the accolades that Raven has. I did play competitively for a short time, but never at the level Raven did. I played for a team that tried to qualify for Pro League and failed, unfortunately. And I played for a few teams just like hanging out and stuff. But most of my stuff within Rainbow Six has been as, for a short time I was coaching. And then I moved into casting primarily, so commentating. I just spout my opinions, inflict them upon everyone else, and that's kind of what I'm known for. They don't necessarily have to be right, actually. I modesty aside, I do like to think that I know what I'm talking about some of the time. So, yeah. I mean, I'll be that second opinion to help kind of be there and hopefully extract some useful info out of you, Raven.
Yeah, look, I've definitely never heard you say anything that's too out of line or like completely wrong. And
best compliment I ever had.
Honestly, I mean, like, I think you've been lucky to get by without me completely disagreeing with you before. So I think that's a good sign.
Well, there's always tonight. We're trapped in a stream together for a couple hours. Anything could go wrong. Who knows? But yes, let's jump into it, I reckon. Droning and problem solving is on the agenda for tonight, plus a quick match. Before we jump in game, I'll just say, chat, thank you for being here. It's nice to see you guys active, having a bit of fun already. If you have any questions, whether that's like about me or Raven, whether it's about the stuff we're talking about, if let's say you want to see, like we're doing the problem solving section, you bring up a specific thing. Oh, what if there's a castle barricade here? Even if it's so specific as to like a specific map strategy or something, chuck it in the chat and we might, spin that up for you guys and address that as well. We want to really involve you guys and have a bit of a free-flowing episode. So I'm keen as for that.
Absolutely, yeah. Definitely be open about everything, and if you have questions, we definitely want to chat about it. So yeah, feel free to go for it. I am just quickly setting up lobby. That's why I look maybe roughly distracted.
I will read out the first message, the first question we've got in chat, which is how much hair gel does Dev have in his hair right now? Thank you, Grim. I actually don't have any hair gel in my hair right now, believe it or not. Yeah, I'm slumming it today. This is just au naturel. So sorry to disappoint you, mate.
Do you actually use hair gel? I didn't even know that you did.
I do.
Oh.
For actual like casts, particularly when I'm in studio, I do it now even for like the EUL and the APAC League stuff. But War Turtle has another great question. Have you actually slept? Funnily enough, I have slept. Working night shift is tough, but yeah, I've been. Ooh, let me jump on attack, Raven. You can jump on defense, I reckon.
Yes.
Yeah, I sleep during the day. I'm a bat.
Yeah, you are.
I hang upside down.
I've said it a few times. It's quite funny waking up as you're going to bed after like an EU broadcast. And yes. We'll have like a message with each other, and you're like, "All right, I'm going to sleep."
Yeah.
And I'll be like, "I'm getting out of bed." So weird.
Yeah. What map do you want to go for, guys? I feel like let's not do conflict because we did that just last week.
Yeah.
I'm happy to go for it. Do you have any preference, Raven?
Not really. I mean, like, droning is very universal across all maps. Maybe let's just do Oregon.
Sure, we can jump between later on. Look, actually, can we do something that's not maybe a bit more well-known than Oregon, just in case people aren't so familiar with it?
Coastline?
Sure. Coastline's an easy one. Let's do that.
Yes. All right.
Jump in. Let's do it.
All right, cool. Let's go.
I just start reading chat. We've got some fun questions. People are getting excited already. For some reason, there we go. The game's finally spun up. There took a second. So yes, we do have a dedicated Q&A section when we're doing quick match later. So if we don't answer your question now, stick around, ask it again later, and we'll do our best. Now, this is a quick pick phase, so I'm going to get this as fast as possible. Droning doesn't really matter what operator I pick. I will just pick Hibana because she is a beautiful operator.
But it might have mattered what operator I picked because I guess there's counters to droning that we might be able to talk about here.
You are so ahead of the curve, Raven. Has anyone ever told you that?
Yeah. No, but thank you.
Use your drone to locate a bomb.
All right, Raven. It's the prep phase right now. Now, of
10
course, we're in a
seconds to go.
custom game, so the prep phase and the action phase are different durations to what's
Insertion
normal.
in 5 seconds.
But usually you got 45 seconds in the prep phase. Now, my drone is outside Brilliance. If you want, you can check the stream and see that. Why don't we start talking through what you want to be doing with your prep phase drone?
Yeah, so obviously what a lot of people will do very instinctively is they'll just drone straight in through the nearest entrance and they'll start trying to figure out where the bomb site is. And to an extent, that is kind of what you want to do, but there's 5 of you on a team and you don't want to be everybody doing that because you know what, you will find bomb site, that's for sure, but you'll probably all also lose your drone. So what you actually want to be able to do is coordinate with who you're playing with, and obviously if you're solo, it's a little bit more tricky, but you could probably bet somebody is going to push their drone in. So if you're solo, instead of pushing a drone in, think about where you want to set it up. So if you find out, so for example, I chose hookah billiards for the bomb site. If you there,
Hello?
think about where you might want to attack from. So if you want to try and do a hookah attack, for example, you might want to take Sunrise. So maybe you had to set your drone up somewhere down in Sunrise so you can see if there's a roamer that comes and plays down in this section.
So maybe the first thing is be careful just going in the first door because often experienced defenders will actually look at the doors to the site where they expect, or not even to the site, but you know, you might be ready and looking for a drone to come in through here. So instead of just willy-nilly going straight on through like this and making noise and jumping, because jumping is very loud, you know, go a bit slower. You don't have to enter straight away. If you're on a long angle like this, then the drone can see under the door frame, but they can't see you. But yeah, once you get in the building, setting up is a great point. Look, Raven, you're so ahead of the curve. Just stop it. We need to do the basics first. And then find a drone spot. Like, sometimes you want to be, obviously identifying where the objective is definitely your first on the agenda. And unfortunately, because we can jump more in this custom when we get into a quick match, but in the custom game, obviously, because it's a 1v1, you can't necessarily hear all the defenders running around. But if, Raven, if you were defending hookah right now, you're probably upstairs reinforcing something. Can you go and just reinforce a wall? You don't have to, like, actually solidify it, but just do the animation. And I should be able to hear it all the way from down here. Yep. So if I'm quiet, I can actually hear that. And so if you were down here, you can still hear them reinforcing, and you can kind of learn where the objectives are and start to use sound for that. And then after that, Raven, would you usually be pre-placing a drone? Is there anything particular you would do?
Yeah, pre-place drones. So like, once you know the site, you want to pre-place drones, and you start to learn exactly on each map how you want to do that, or on each bomb site how you would want to do that. A very popular spot, and what I definitely suggest, is the stairwells are great areas to observe from your drone. So it tells you if somebody's rotating up or down, and that's usually important because it tells you whether someone's roaming or not. So in this instance, if someone comes down Cool Vibe stairs, they're probably going to be roaming, or they're setting up something down here, and you might want to know about that. So you'll probably want to set your drone up, as Dev has, in a tricky to see spot for the defenders. It's somewhat common though, so if a defender is really switched on or they're a very experienced player, they'll probably start to look in all these corners and maybe even just like pre-fire some of them to see if they can find a drone. But ideally try and keep it as hidden as possible. And you watch the stairwell, and that allows you to just watch if someone comes down, and if they do, maybe they go into kitchen. And then you never see them emerge again. And so now you know there's a roamer on like the east side of the map. And maybe you see, this is a very unrealistic example, but maybe you see 4 people come down.
Yeah.
They all run towards like lobby side. You now know there must be at least one on site, and you can start to make a play based on that.
Yeah, that's a great point, especially on maps. You know, count how many staircases there are on the whole map. Here on Coastline, there's these Cool Vibe stairs, and then there's the white stairs on the southeast corner of the map over there. if you have maybe your teammate puts a drone near the white stairs, you put a drone near the cool vibe stairs, you will know how many people are on the top floor and how many people are on the bottom floor just by counting, the number of people that go up or down the stairs, and that can be super duper helpful. So definitely recommend in the prep phase, don't lose your drone. That's your number one goal. Don't get your drone killed, because if you lose that, you only get 2 drones per person, and these are one of the most valuable tools, in a lot of cases even more valuable than your frag grenades or whatever else that you have in your arsenal. So definitely important to keep it alive, and then try and get some value out of it. Try and get some early information, and find a safe place for it. Here's another great drone spot that can watch the cool vibe stairs. You jump onto the bench here in blue bar, you jump up on top, and then you B1 with the bottles. And now I can see anyone who comes down the stairs. And also I can see if anyone goes into Sunrise. If you walk into Sunrise, Raven, I can immediately call to my teammates, because that is the only door into that room. I can say, one is in Sunrise, trapped there right now. And now I can stay on this drone while my teammates try and kill him, and I can guarantee that he hasn't left that room.
Absolutely right. And that's just really strong, because you could leave that drone particularly there. You might be able to leave that up almost the entire map, because that's hard to spot. A lot of people aren't looking up, and in prep phase, what's really common is people are looking on the ground for drones more often than not. If they hear something, they'll start to look up. But if they've got something in their mind, so if they're running to set up a spawn peak or they're running to reinforce a wall, their eyes or their peripherals are actually scanning like waist level below. So if you're able to silently get your drone up high, nice and early, it's far less likely to be seen. And that brings the point that if you do get it in a good spot, don't move it. Like, keep it very still, because they do give off sound cues, and it's very subtle, but you hear it, and that will give your drone away. And yeah, as we're saying, like, this drone spot is really helpful, and you can keep that up the whole map. So if you are attacking billiards and you want to know if you're about to get C4'd, if this drone is still here, you can flick back to it and check.
Yeah, it's definitely valuable. Those prep phase drones aren't just for the prep phase, right? I think that's the big thing to get across. You can use these throughout the entire of the action phase, and they can still be useful, not only in the first 45 seconds when the defenders are setting up. And you also bring up a really good point, which is about sound. Now, the drones give off sound just like, in Rainbow Six, basically every single action gives off sound, whether you're a drone or a person. If you just, don't move, but just, like, look around. Just look around. Don't move. Raven, look around without moving. Look around without moving.
Oh, me?
Yeah,
sorry, I thought you were talking about the drone.
I was literally talking to you. So if I'm quiet, I can hear his feet moving, even though he's just looking around. And it's the exact same thing. Can you hear this, Raven?
Yep, very subtly. And it's not
Very
like
subtly.
it's not the machine sound that you hear. It's like the wheels clicking.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to explain, but it's a different sound. Yeah.
That's a great point. Like, the sound of a drone landing is really loud.
Yes.
So
yes,
you have
like
to.
I heard that so clearly.
Yeah. And people hear that from a really long way away. So jumping and landing are the 2 loudest things that you can really do as a drone, as well as breaking objects. So, for example, be careful if you're gonna break all the bottles. Someone's gonna hear that. So once you find a good spot, and let's say it's down here in the plant, just don't move it at all. Try not to even look around. And you can take a bit of cover behind the leaves here and just sit like that, and hopefully it won't get spotted.
My tip for that is, like, I always try and picture it like, if I was to not use this drone again and a dead teammate needed to use the drone, how would they want me to face it? And that's how I kind of place it, because I want to think about that my teammates want to observe on it. So, like, one way to hide a drone is to look straight into the wall. Yeah, because then you can't see the light. But it also means if you never touch that drone again, you're giving your teammates a wall cam. And that's not great either.
Don't just do this. Looking the wrong way.
Yeah, don't just do that. So yeah, I always try and put myself in like a teammate's shoes. I'm like, if this needs to be accessed later, how would I want this faced? So that's always important. So I guess the other aspect of prep phase droning is, watching the stairwells. So that way you can keep a track of enemies that are rotating or trying to roam and moving around the map. The other important part of prep phase droning is setting up for entry. So again, in like a structured team, you would have desired 2 people on entry, and then usually 2 people would be droning those guys. So let's say you want to enter office, be the best example. Follow me.
Yes, sir.
You would you would get your support players that would be doing the droning at the start of the rounds. You would get them to pop one of their drones, or both of their drones potentially, in or around office. Might leave one outside the door. You might want to chuck one in here somewhere. And it's not necessarily to be aggressive or anything. It's just, this is where you want to enter first. So you want to be able to get this info, it's clear, so that you can get in through the door once it's actually action phase and start to progress through the map. So there's no delay, because that's one issue, is like if you've lost all your drones, you then have to re-drone just the first room that you want to enter into. And if you think about the time that takes, it's probably going to be 15, 20 seconds, maybe longer. Whereas if you already have one set up in prep phase and someone goes on it straight away, you'll be in that room so quickly, and that can pay benefit later. Because if you want to think about like late round, how this can affect, all that time stacks up. So if it comes down to the final 15 seconds, if you had been a bit more efficient on entry, you might have had more time.
Yeah, that's another great point. And look, since the round's about to end, there's a couple of really just basic but critical things about the drones I wanted to show right at the start of the prep phase. So now when this round ends, we can do that again. Static comes out. There we go. So next up, I want to talk about where your drone spawns at the start of the prep phase. Now, this was actually changed fairly recently, and it's really important to know. Right now, you get your spawn location. What most people don't realize is this is not just where your operator spawns, it's where your drone spawns. Let's say I want my drone to spawn main entrance. I'm going to pick main entrance. I pick my operator, and I know that my drone is going to spawn near main entrance. Won't be in the exact spot that a person would spawn, but you can see now I'm outside of the lobby door. So let's say I really want my drone to spawn here, but I want my person to spawn somewhere else. During the prep phase, you can go and change. I'm now going to spawn ruins, but my drone is still here on the east side. And that way I can go and set up whether, if let's say my team wants to enter from master, from the hatch up above bathroom or what have you, or they want to enter from lobby, I can have my drone on this side of the map, but I still spawn over here because maybe my Hibana player, me in particular, I want to stay, safe, and maybe I want to be closer to aquarium if that's where we're going to push at the end of the round. So that's a really important one.
Yeah. I think a good way to think about spawns in general when you choose it, because a lot of people that have played this game for a long time, is when they first choose their spawn, they're in the habit of like, this is where I want to spawn. But a really good way to think about it when you first choose your spawn after picking an operator is actually, you think about it, this is where I want my drone to spawn. And then during that drone prep phase, you can think about where you want to spawn based on the info you're getting.
Exactly, and that's perfect, isn't it? Now, there is another thing that I didn't mention, but I think it's really important. If you open the options menu, this feature was added a few seasons ago. It's in the general settings. You'll notice there's drone after prep. Now, this is a really important one. I believe it's set to automatic by default. And what that means is at the end of the preparation phase, when the action phase starts, you will be kicked off your drone and you will spawn in and you will be, at your operator rather than at your drone. Now, you can change this to manual, which means that you will always, when the timer hits 0 and the action phase starts, you will always stay on your drone until you press, I believe it's escape, to get off your drone. And then there's semi-automatic, which is what I use, and I think a lot of people use. And that means that if I'm on one of my teammates' drones at the end of the prep phase, it will take me out and I will be on my operator. But if I'm still on my drone, let's say Raven is chasing me around the map or something, and I'm just trying to get away with my drone successfully, I might want it to be on manual or semi-automatic so that I can keep running away even after the action phase starts, because, Raven's still going to be there and he's still going to be chasing my drone down. So I highly recommend putting it either on semi-automatic or manual, and there's a lot of good things you can do with that. It also means that if you have a pre-placed drone you're watching for your teammates, let's say my drone is at the top of the white stairs over here, and I'm calling out and telling my entire teammates, oh, well, the top of white is clear and 90 hallway is clear and luggage is clear. I can stay on this drone even when the action phase starts, and maybe even wait until one of my teammates maybe rappels in the window over there or something, so that I can give that up-to-date information without getting kicked off.
Yes, it's all about just that positioning outside of watching the flanks, about that kind of entry rationale where you want to be watching. And I guess the last iteration of prep phase placement is potentially some maps you might need to use a lot of drones to watch stairwells, for example. So Villa has a lot of stairs on it. So depending on the site, you might be dedicating a lot of drones to watching those. Other maps, that's not so much the case. You can start to think even more broad, where it might be a really popular flank spot. So if you know, I guess you can use this example, right? Like if you're trying to attack Buka Billiards, while you might want to enter this side, after that, it becomes a flank drone.
Yeah.
So it might be really important that you stack maybe 2 drones here. You might have one just to watch for entry, and that drone gets moved later. But you might pre-place that flank drone. It's like how I was saying in Blue Bar, that drone might stay there the entire game, even though it was a drone placed in prep phase. It would be similar for a flank drone like this. You might have a separate one set up. It may be in a different spot, or you just replace this one once you move it. But regardless, like sometimes it is important to set those up in prep phase, because when it comes mid-late round, sometimes it can be tricky. You have to think about it. It just actually gives you the opportunity to not have to think about it later. You can just continue focusing on what you want to be doing besides setting up a drone. And then when you do have a dead teammate, if you do, they can just switch straight onto it.
That's a great example there. Like if, let's say my character is dead, my operator is dead, but the rest of my team are trying to execute through Aquarium, which is the room just down where I'm looking at the moment, and I'm dead. I'm going to sit on this drone, and I know that if someone tries to come through where you're coming from at the moment, Raven, through the 90 hallway or from the bottom of the white stairs, I can call that out to my teammates. And yeah, you can always ping like this, but when you ping, the defender gets a notification saying that they've been pinged, and that tells the defender, oh, look for a drone. There's a drone watching me, and they're going to shoot your drone. So I actually recommend using voice comms to call out that you see someone instead of pinging 99% of the time. Almost never would you actually use the ping function.
Yeah, absolutely. As much as possible, don't ping. It really is important just to communicate, because, I mean, that drone is somewhat obvious, and maybe a roamer will see that, but sometimes you do get some really cool little drone spots, and you want to be able to keep those secret from whoever you're looking at. If you spot, they're just going to know, like, okay, I'm on a drone. Where is it?
Yeah, you
so
look
if
all
it's
the
me,
spots.
yeah. So if it's me, like, if I get spotted, I know I can stop. I'll literally just stop, and I'll just check like all the popular spots. So like, if it was me right now, I'd be like checking the shelves. I'd check under the couch, and I'd check this little square unit thing here, and I'd be like, oh, there's the drone. Bang.
Yeah. And you bring up another great point about drone spots, and I think that's another thing. Like, you know, we've shown a couple ones, but this is by no means the only drone that can watch this white stairs. And let's say, you know, in the first round we're attacking, and you, Raven, you're flanking, you see this drone and you shoot it. Well, next round I probably still want a drone to watch this white stairs, but I know that if I put it here again, you're going to shoot it, so I might move it. I might instead put it on the ledge over here, right at the top, and just have it watching the top of the white stairs now, and I can still see if someone comes to that luggage door from the hallway. And what's great about a drone like this, if you want to get more complex with it and start thinking about why drone spots are good, if you're coming from bottom of the stairs, Raven, this is the last place you are looking, right? Because you're going to be expecting maybe there's a player looking to shoot you from the top of the stairs. So you're looking at the top of the stairs, and you are definitely not looking up here. You want to be covering the angles where you might die from. So that's why this drone spot is a particularly good one, because the defenders will always be facing away from it.
Yeah, and this is starting to cross over a little bit into flank watch drones in general. But just to build on like your point, when you're setting up flank drones, it is important to think about like, where are you watching and where do you expect the defender to be coming from? And you always try and set it up behind them, or where it's going to be out of that field of view. So this is a great example, because yeah, they are going to look up, like even if they look up towards here, they're still not going to see the drone. They'll start to look towards luggage, they'll look towards 90. They'll just never, ever know that drone was on them. And then they might get pre-fired, and then it's like the classic, how did they know?
How did he know?
Yeah. That happens so much, and it's probably just the drone behind you.
Yeah, look, people think that, you know, wall hacks are the best way to know where your opponents are. No, droning. Trust me, mate. If you are good at droning, people will think you have wall hacks. Honestly, that's how it works. And especially if you don't ping. For example, if I ping over here, you're gonna check all the spots. If you can't find it in all the default spots, well, you know there's still a drone somewhere, so you're gonna check the less common spots, like where I was just there as well.
Yeah, yeah, it drives you mad. Like personally, if I can't find the drone, I would just start to look anywhere. I'm just like, okay, someone's found a really cool spot. Like, where is this thing?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just another great example. Don't ping.
Yeah. Now this is the last thing I can think of for prep phase droning, but it seems a bit funny or obvious. But you know what? I'm going to jump back into the spawn with my Hibana. And let's say I'm a Hibana or a Thermite player. Maybe we're on a map where my utility is really important. So at the start of the round, I'm not actually really going to be running around and shooting people or entering the building. I'm going to be droning for my teammates, my Zephyr, my Sledge, my Ash, my Buck, so that they can then start to kill the roamers and then it's safe for me to move in. If I want to be using my drones a lot in the action phase and I don't want to lose my drone in the prep phase, I might even just take my drone all the way outside, so it's outside, like let's say we want to enter from office, it might be outside office. Or I could even go so far as to take it all the way back into the spawn, and when I spawn, the first thing I do is I pick up my drone, and then I check for spawn peaks, I get close to the building. This is the pretty standard thing to do. And I mean, Coastline's not a great example of this because there's not a lot of safe spots outside, but let's say I'm on the roof, I'm getting myself to a safe position. Now I still have 2 drones in my pocket, and I can throw them out and start droning for my teammates now. And by that time I'm on the roof, my teammates are ready to start moving in because it takes everyone on the attacking team a few seconds to get to the building, and I may as well use the time that the attackers are getting to the building to get to the building myself and use my drone. So that's another thing. If you're not going to be setting up pre-placed drones, if you want to make sure you're not taking the risk and losing your drone early, I highly recommend putting it out to your spawn or putting it outside the building and then just droning for your teammates after you've safely got to the building.
15 seconds
Absolutely. And that does give a lot of different examples of what you can do with your
10
drone
seconds
besides
left.
just running it straight to site and getting it shot every time. So
5 seconds
yeah,
remaining.
definitely think about what is required and talk to your teammates in chat. What's needed?
expired.
Is someone going to push their drone to site? Great. Who's going to do that? It's probably going to be an entry fragger because they're least likely to be needing one of their drones at least, or multiple drones, early in the round. So they can just push it to site. If it gets shot, okay, well, site, it got shot, cool. And then you can start to set up all your other drones or keep it outside.
Very much so, yeah. That's a lot of good ways that you can use your drones during the prep phase. Now, I think we've kind of, dusted off the prep phase now. Maybe we'll move into some of the things that you might be doing in the action phase. Raven, do you have anything particular that you want to start with?
10 seconds to insertion.
I mean, the primary droner is going to be your support player or the hard
in
support
5
players. Siege compositions are developing a bit different these days, where
Locate
people are
and defuse the
generally
bomb.
mixing more in terms of what they play. But in general, like your hard breach or maybe your Thatcher style player would be a primary droner. So when you get into action phase, they would be droning for the entry. So if we want to use Office as an example,
Yep, I'm in
where's the
office.
drone at now?
I am in office.
Great. So we'll just pretend that like I'm the entry fragger.
Yeah.
We'll talk about what that would mean. So
So at the
We're
moment, you're
outside.
role-playing an attacker right now, not a defender.
yeah, just pretend I'm attacker.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to enter Office, my support player would have a drone in Office. And I'd be
Yep.
like, all right, how's Office?
And I would say, office is clear, nothing sunroom, haven't checked blue bar, blue bar clear. And the idea here as a droner is to give everything you know your entry fragger needs to know. And
Yep.
that goes from knowing what's clear and also not knowing what's clear. Like if you don't know, so here's a great example, right? Let's say you're outside, right? And I say, office is clear, and I'm waiting for you to go in. And then suddenly someone peeks from this blue bar door and you're dead. And you're going to be like, I thought you droned that. And I was like, yeah, I didn't call blue bar clear, bro. And then there's the blame game starts, right? So I need to tell you everything I know and everything I don't know. So start. Office is clear. Sunroom, which is down the hallway there, is clear. No info security. That tells you that I don't know whether that someone could peek you from there, so you have to check that angle. And I'll say droning blue bar now, and that tells you that I don't yet know if there's someone in blue bar. I check. Blue bar clear. Checking bottoms white or whatever, bottom cool vibes. And this is where I get roasted for having the wrong callouts. Cool vibes clear, no info sunrise. And then I might ask you, where do you want me to drone next? And you'll be like, drone sunrise or whatever. And then I'll check sunrise. So,
Yep. That's exactly it.
Sunrise
And to be from like the entry fragger perspective as well, in general, like if you're getting live drone like that, if you want to be entering swiftly, like Dev said, you want to be listening to all the info that's been called out by the drone and understanding what's not actually clear, and just be pre-aiming that stuff. And even if he was droning out blue bar, if he gets really deep and he's not called it clear, I'm going to assume it's probably clear anyway because it's a small room. And so I would start to push behind the drone and just pre-aim the entrance doorway, because then you're just ready in case somebody peeks it. But you know you don't have to actually pre-aim anywhere in the room. You're starting to think ahead, and then you just wait for the drone to actually progress. But to put that back on the droning perspective, that is also critical because you're allowing your entry fragger to get in the building, make progress, take map control, aggressively, quickly, so they can have a clear head. They can just focus on either aim. They don't actually have to think about too much about like positions and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
They're just getting that info and they're just ready to shoot.
All that the entry fragger has to think about is it's like a game of elimination, right? Because in Rainbow Six, there's a million places you could get shot from at once. If I'm droning for you and I say, this is clear, that is clear, you know, this other thing I don't know, then you have just, you know, ticked off the things that you know you don't have to worry about. So for example, if we're coming in from office and I tell you sunroom is clear, no info security, you're like, all right, I know there's no one in office, I know there's no one in sunroom, there might be someone in security, so I'm going to pre-aim that. And I'll tell you, look, there's one blue bar, and immediately you know that blue bar is the biggest threat. And I might call which side of the room he's in, or I might say, you know, right side, close left, or no, close right, whatever, you know. My call-outs are horrible right now. But, right side, close left. What on earth am I thinking, Dev? You know, so that's how it'd be, you know. You got to give as much information to your entry fragger as possible. And
another...
You go.
Okay.
No, please, Raven.
What I was going to say is another way to visualize like the reason that really good live droning for an entry fragger is good is I always say to think about like your focus as a pie chart. If you think about what a pie chart looks like, and you want the biggest chunk of that pie chart to be focused on what your priority is. And so as an entry fragger, that's getting the entry pick or getting the frag. So if you're having to think about positions in a room, is a room clear, all that kind of stuff, that takes up chunks in your pie chart. And I mean, depending on the kind of stressful person you are, it might take up a lot and you might not be able to focus on fragging. The idea is you're getting as much information to clear up that pie chart so that you have as close to 100% focus as possible on what you want to be doing, which is fragging. And likewise with the droner, I mean, you can drone, you don't have to worry about dying. You're literally just pushing your drone through and you just got to focus on communicating.
I'm hungry now. Can I have a pie?
No.
Damn it. Pie chart. Someone's confused by the pie chart analogy. It's basically just talking about focusing on less things at once. So imagine most of your pie chart as an entry fragger is just focused on getting that kill because you don't have to worry about all of these extra angles because your droner has said that is clear. That's the it's about being able to focus on one thing because you're working as a team to take different responsibilities and lighten the load of everyone individually. So that's really important. Now, Raven, we've talked a lot about how to drone as a support player for your entry fragger, but we haven't really talked about what to drone if you're the entry fragger. So let's say, Raven, you're the entry fragger right now. You go in, you take a fight, and you die. If you have done nothing with your drones, if you pick them up in spawn, we just lost 2 drones when you died there. They were both in your pocket. We lost both of them. So what should an entry fragger be doing with their drones to make sure that they don't lose out on that value?
Yeah, so generally you would try and use the entry fragger drones or flank. They're usually the great ones to set up in flank because they're not the ones that are actively being used. And then it does vary a little bit. I've worked with teams and players that have different preferences. One preference is that the entry fragger keeps their other drone in pocket and they're the ones that drone sight because the idea is that their job is primarily on entry, get the opening picks, facilitate the team to be close to sight. And then once you're close to sight, the entry fragger can drone ahead and they will start to call out what's happening on site. And they will even think about their plan for maybe going nuts on site so you can get a plant down.
Yeah.
The other option is they can just chuck another drone down as soon as they've got a stable entry in map control and then set that up on flank as well. So maybe they've set up 2 flank drones. But generally the entry fragger won't do a whole lot of active droning for other players. it's either going to be setting up a flank watch or maybe droning something up for themselves. Potentially, if it calls for it, you might be able to drone like another entry fragger, so you guys can duo ahead together while the support players are trying to focus on other things. But I would say a majority of the time, you're just going to be setting up a flank drone or maybe droning for yourself.
So maybe what's really important as a first step for the entry fragger is with your preparation phase drone. Don't just, run straight into the bomb site and get it killed. Don't just take it out to spawn and then put it in your pocket if you're going to potentially die at the start of the round. Maybe that harks back to what we were talking about when we were touching on prep phase droning. And start by putting it in a spot that covers a flank or a rotation. So here is a great one. And look, I'm just going to get really nitty gritty and say this is maybe the drone I showed you before, which watches kitchen door and the stairs. If I put it slightly further up, I can watch kitchen door and the stairs and the bathroom door and the lobby hallway. That is so much more information I now have. Now, of course, this drone is even more exposed because if a defender's coming from that side, they're going to see it a bit more. I can try and hide behind the plant, but then, of course, it can't see as well because the plant's in the way. So it's really a game of risks and how much risks and reward you're willing to take. So that's just another thing that maybe your entry fragger would like to do. If you think you might die at the start of the round, you're taking the risks at the start, put your drone in a position that's going to be useful later on, even if you're dead.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And then sometimes there are the situations where maybe you're the one that you're site droning in prep phase. So you just have to be at peace. If you are the site droner, like you have to be at peace that you're probably going to lose your drone. Not always though. It's like Dev said before, you might be able to get a sound cue. And as long as you are confident, then sure, that's enough. You've called, like, you know where site is. I generally say try and get like a visual aid that is confirmation, because there are strategies on certain maps, Clubhouse in particular, where you can bait the drones.
You pretend
the other
that
team.
you're defending one objective, but you're actually defending a different objective.
Exactly. And that, I mean, the reason that strategy works is pretty much exactly what we're talking about, right? It's about being conservative with your drones, not trying to push them in too deep where you lose them and affect your drone economy. So the reason that strategy works is because when the drones come in the building, they get the sound cue of where you're reinforcing, they see where you're reinforcing, and so the assumption then is, okay, they're holding this. And that's where that strat works. It's actually like more of a psychological play. Yeah, so you do have to, I would say, try and get visual confirmation. And then, I mean, if you play high level competitive and they are doing bait strat, then maybe you just have to be a little bit more careful about it. But
Yeah.
in general, try and get some visual confirmation.
And if anyone is interested in seeing an example of what Raven's talking about, there was a fantastic game between, I believe it was Sinister and Pittsburgh Knights. Now, was it in Six Masters or was it in Pro
15
League?
seconds remaining.
Oh, actually, that's a good question.
10 seconds.
I have to double check that. I feel like it was in Pro League, but I'm not quite sure.
5 seconds.
Yeah. So I highly recommend going back and typing into Google Pro League Season 11 ANZ Sinister vs Knights and watch that game. It's on Clubhouse, and Sinister pull off a ridiculously effective bait strategy where they pretend they're defending the bottom floor when they're actually defending the top floor, and Knights took it, hook, line, and sinker, and they even tried to plant the diffuser when it wasn't the objective. Amazing moment. Highly recommend watching that game.
Yeah, that was fantastic. And that is a great example of how you can exploit like a high level, I don't know what you'd call it, like drone strategy. Because this is like a drone strategy, what we're explaining. And you can exploit that. And that's a whole lot about what the game is about, which I guess we're going to talk about a bit later with countering. And how you think about countering people. And that's what it is. Like, that is a team thinking, hey, let's try and bait them into thinking we're holding a different site. How can we do that? And it's thinking about how teams drone and where the exploit is in that. But that's getting really advanced and deep, and we probably won't get too deeper into that. But
and there are still a couple things that that we can talk about here with droning. I do just want to address a question we've got in chat from Asbag, saying lately I've been doing well, relatively decently. Mind you, this is just in quick match. Even improvement within quick is some progress, right? Absolutely. I can't remember exactly how long it was, but I was playing Rainbow Six Siege for a very long time before I even touched ranked, and I played quick match. And you might hear some people who maybe play a lot of ranked or play competitively in esports tournaments, and they say, "Oh, quick match is just for messing around." I mean, that's not the case. Like, I know a lot of people who take quick match really seriously and want to do well, and that's totally fine. It's called quick match. It's not called don't try and don't drone and don't. It's you can play the game how you want to, and If you're doing well in quick match, then good on you. All power to you. If you feel that improvement, it doesn't matter whether you're playing quick match or ranked or an esports tournament. You know, that's something of value to you, and that's fantastic. And if you are looking for more of a challenge, feel free to try and try the more competitive game modes as well. But I know they can be intimidating for some people, so it's perfectly fine to just play quick match at the same time.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And it all scales. Like, once you improve, you'll probably feel more confident to play ranked. And then maybe you two will feel like quick match is just a bit, like, a lot more chill than it used to be. And that scales as it goes up. Like, most people, as they start to play really competitively in esports, they feel the same way about ranked. Like, I know me personally, ever since I started playing competitively, ranked is just a bit of fun. Yeah. It's a really competitive, or it's a competitive game mode that you can really enjoy. And maybe get a bit frustrated with from time to time, but that's just how it is. And it's just it's not as stressful as it used to be back before I played competitive. So it all scales. So if you get improvement in quick match, that's great. And if that builds confidence into playing ranked, then awesome.
I just want to say, I used this pre-placed drone in lobby, and I just saw your rotation into blue bar. Can you run back to
nice.
bottom? How cool is that? So this is a great example of, I was just sitting here, and I didn't hear anything, but Raven just ran past, and we saw him. He didn't see this drone, and it goes to show pre-placed drones could be incredibly valuable. Because if I was on this in the prep phase, and maybe my goal is to enter into office, maybe I'm even solo queuing here. I know, Raven, we've talked a lot about advanced strategies for if you have teammates to coordinate with, but a lot of people just play by themselves, or maybe they don't have a microphone. So here is a great example of how you can still get really good value out of your drones in the prep phase right here. If I knew I wanted to enter into office, and I see Raven go down there, I know, okay, now when I enter into office, I have to be extra careful because I know that there's a player nearby. And that tells me that instead of just sprinting in, I'm gonna maybe use my second drone. And like, I think it's really important, Raven, that we touch on solo queue tips as well. How can you use the drones just for yourself? Because a lot of people aren't. So, I'm droning for myself right now. I've just checked office. Maybe I'm going to enter into blue bar, but I want to check this way to make sure no one flanks me. I've droned up that side. I know no one's in security right now. I'm just going to double check office real quick again. Yeah, office looks clear. Oh, and I see someone. I might try and hide my drone, but now I know maybe I shouldn't go in there. Here's a great example. I actually have my drone in a position where I can see if he goes out to security. He might shoot my drone. At this point, you can't. There's no perfect solution when you're solo queuing, and at some point you do have to get off the drone and just do your best. So, try and move on in or whatever. And there you go. I see him now.
That was very flashed.
Oh, really? Hey, that was. I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but I threw a flashbang on the right side and peeked the left side to know that you weren't going to peek me from the right side, and it worked. I'm a god. It must be the Team Empire skin.
Must be. What you were saying with the solo drone is the way I think about it when I try and solo drone for myself is I'll drone the entrances to the room. So in this example, it'd be I'd come to security and then I would come back to office. And as soon as I get it to the blue bar door, I'd probably wait for a sound cue for half a second. If I hear nothing, I would get off the drone, enter office, and take that map control straight away. Because you never want that intel to get too old.
Yeah.
And then would maybe find a spot, I don't know, maybe here safe. And then you would quickly continue running through blue bar. And then once that's clear, you would move in through blue bar and you would sit maybe behind the bar here. And if you wanted to drone to kitchen, then maybe you could start to drone towards kitchen. But that's the way I do it, is it's about progress. You never want to, because if you drone all the way from office into sunrise and you're like, sweet, I'm clear through to sunrise.
And someone's come from security.
Some guy, yeah, exactly. So you might walk straight into office and there's just a guy in your face.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. It's kind of like I'm trying to find an analogy, but I can't think of one. But you do the first step, and then you I don't know, you follow it up with the person. Oh, I just smacked my keyboard with my mouse again. You kind of you drone up, but you don't want it to get too old, so you move in just behind it, and then you drone up a little bit further. You don't just do it all in one go because information, as you said, does age. So yeah, no, that's another really great point here. And yeah, something I do even when I am solo queuing is I still have my drones in pre-placed positions. A great example is this one in lobby, because even if I die, if you're someone who likes to use your microphone, I do like to talk to my teammates even when I'm solo queuing. Even if they're not necessarily talking back to me, I'll still try and give callouts to help them. And I mean, undoubtedly, that does increase my chances of winning. Even though I'm not receiving any benefit, my teammates are receiving benefit. And look, that might get them extra kills, and whatever. I might have a worse KD than them, but I've been helping in my own way. So there's still value in pre-placed drones, even when you're not necessarily with like a teammates who are communicating back to you.
Yeah, hugely. Also, seeing as the opportunity has arisen, we could quickly just talk about something with Vigil.
Oh yeah.
If you go on your lobby drone.
Yep.
So obviously, there's a Vigil around because if I put my ability on, you see the things around the screen, and that's all well and good, and people will be like, "Oh, there's a Vigil there." So the flaw to that drone watching blue bar is, so say you see me cross to blue bar, and then it's all like suddenly you see me cross to blue bar again.
He's teleporting. He's rubber banding, mate. He's rubber banding. But no, I mean, do it again. I'm watching from a different drone's perspective. Do it again.
Okay.
Just stay on the gadget in the open. Yeah, and I will flick between them. See, I can hear you're there, but I can't see you, and this drone close by has the signals, but my drone in lobby doesn't. And there you go, I finally see you. So yeah, there is a range there to the Vigil signals, and you can't rely on a drone in long range that it will get the Vigil signals.
Yes, and so the point that I was going to make is if you know the other team has a Vigil, I mean, you might not always think about it, but sometimes you do have to be careful if you're setting up flank drone or just a drone to zone off part of the map. You may have to think about how long that distance is, because that could really be detrimental info. Like, you could be using that to watch that hallway, and you could see a Vigil rotate out of blue bar, and you could be like, oh yeah, he's left blue bar, you can take it. But he can just put his ability back on and get it back in there without you knowing, and that could get your teammate killed. So that is stuff you have to think about. That's pretty advanced, and I would be surprised if a Vigil player kind of thought that through to that extent. A lot of the time, but it does happen, and you have to think about that.
This is why you should always ban Vigil.
Is it?
No, that was a joke. But hey, I do like to ban Vigil because I never play him and I like the drone, so he's a good one to ban. There are quite a few operators on the defense that counter directly the droning, and namely the ones that Vigil, Mute, and Mozzie are the ones that mainly spring to mind. Do you want to go through like maybe ways that we can deal with them?
Sure, we can do that.
All right. Well, look, is there anything else you want to touch on? We kind of did the solo queuing thing. I feel like we've almost touched on everything aside from then like the actual abilities that counter droning. Is there anything else you got in mind before we like reset the round and move to Mozzie and Mute?
The only thing I would think about is sometimes with active droning, we talked about sounds of the drone, so jumping and landing are obviously the two loudest. And the drone moving at a consistent speed is pretty loud as well. So there is some strategies around that. So for example, if you're trying to hunt a roamer that's in Sunrise, and maybe he doesn't realize you've droned him, there are ways to keep the drone moving without it making much sound. Now, I'm not even sure, Dev, do you know how to do...
I do not.
Okay, so I've heard it called a few different things. I just call it drone crawling. And it's basically where you like tap on the keys. It's the best way I can describe it. It makes like slightly less sound, so you can move your drone like around the edge of the room, and it makes less sound. So,
do I like tap it just like once to like go a tiny distance? Is it like that?
Well, it depends. So, this is actually hard to explain.
Maybe we need to switch sides so you can do it.
Maybe we do. Do you want to do that?
It's a lot of effort, bro. I feel like we should do Mozzie and Mute first, surely, while we're on this side.
Okay, yeah. Let's do that. We'll put a bookmark in this. We'll come back to it.
All right. That's it. Dog ear it. Sounds good. Oh, you are destroying me today, Raven. Look at that. 0-4.
Yeah. This is how it always is.
So, Mute and Mozzie, which one do you want to go for first?
Let's see Mozzie, the Aussie boy.
Mozzie the Aussie. All right, I'm gonna bring IQ just so we can show them through the walls.
Sounds good.
So, where do you want to meet? Behind Macca's car park?
Use your drone to locate a bomb.
Is that where it always goes down?
It does.
Is that your fave?
Yeah, for sure. Oh, it's Buzz. The bomb site is actually Buzz. All right, where do you want my drone?
Come to Sunrise, I guess.
All right. Location and defuse it. Bomb has been located.
Hello.
Howdy.
G'day.
Am I taking it straight away, or?
I think people... I don't think we should demonstrate necessarily exactly how it works, but yeah, this is a great example. So Mozzie's got the pest launcher. He can launch these little pests, and they hack drones. So if you get too close within range, firstly, you will notice this little red marker that comes up that tells you there's a pest nearby. And then if I get too close, you know what, I will. I've got 2 drones. If I get too close, the pest hacks my drone, and now I have no drone left. I've lost access to that, and Raven now has access to it as the Mozzie. And you don't want that to happen. Not only do you lose a drone when that happens, it's unrecoverable. There is no way to get that drone back, but also the defenders now have extra utility they can use.
Yeah, and that's really important because obviously when you're attacking, you don't really look for drones that are set up on flank, for example, and think, hey, that's probably not ours. Okay. That happens a lot. Mozzie drones just go completely unnoticed. Like, you could sit this here, and defenders could use that, and that would be pretty likely to stay alive. Maybe unless they get scanned by IQ.
Yep, exactly. So IQ's electronics detector will highlight enemy drones that have been hacked, but not teammate drones. This is another great way that you can counter Mozzie. And yeah, as a rule, IQ's gadget will only highlight enemy electronics, not teammates' electronics. So if you see something, it's pretty safe to shoot it if you see something with the scanner. But if you can go on the drone again, this is something I'd forgotten about, but you'll notice it's a blue light. Similar to if you jump on the blue bar camera.
Yes.
It's a blue light. Whereas if I'm on my drone, if the attacker's on a drone, it's a yellow light. So as a rule, if ever something, an observation tool or a gadget is occupied by an attacker, it will be lit up yellow. It's the same for if Dockerby hacks the defender's cameras. Whereas if the defenders have control of it, even if it's a drone, it'll be blue. So if you see a blue drone going around, you should probably shoot that bad boy.
Absolutely. And that's to remember sometimes, like the amount of times I've what feels like made direct eye contact with this drone, and then it's taking me like 3 or 4 seconds to be like, hey, that's blue. And then I'm like, oh man, I should shoot that. It does sometimes take some time to register. But yeah, that's where IQ is really good because you don't have to worry about that so much. And if you've got a great IQ player with you that's got the scanner out pretty frequently, they'll notice that kind of thing. And then they'll be able to just shoot it and you don't have to worry about it so much. But maybe we could talk about countering or just like trying to maneuver around when there's a pest in the way. So, I mean, the way the pest works is like Dev said, there's an area of effect, so there's a range. There are ways around it. It can be tricky though, and it depends where the pest is placed. So, do you think you'd be able to get past that pest right now, Dev?
I reckon I can if I jump. So, it's a circle radius, right, around the pest. Now,
yes,
you'll notice that the radius goes to about here. So there's 2 area of effects, right? There's the area of effect of the warning indicators, and there's an area of effect of when it actually catches things. So if you get too close, it'll catch it. I can jump over this potentially because it's a sphere of effect rather than a circle. So in theory, it's going to be the tallest in the middle, and then it's going to go down, kind of like how if you imagine a mouse cursor in the middle of my screen, it kind of goes down like that. So in theory, if I jump over this edge, I might be able to jump over this pest effect. Let's try it. Oh, I just lost it, dude.
Almost. That was really
it.
close. Yeah, that was really close.
So I think I didn't get hacked until I touched the ground. So I went like over it like that, and I only got hacked. I think I was like slightly too far to the right that the pest hacked it.
You landed on like the edge of like the ground part of the circle. So like obviously it's widest on the ground, and like you said, it's tallest in the middle. So you want to try and jump at it from an angle. So if that was me, I probably would have come like this way.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's how you try and get past it. Obviously there's other ways as well. So some people get creative. So the other thing you could have done is just shot like a hole in here, and then just driven like not through the doorway.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, like this comes into what we're going to talk about later about countering and thinking about things like that. Yeah, avoiding the area effect is the idea here.
Yeah. And also, I mean, unfortunately, I've lost both my drones now. But we can retry. We have a couple more things to talk about with Mozzie. Do you want to retry? Reset.
All friendlies have been eliminated.
It'd be like that. I tried to one-tap you, and you dodged it. More accurately, I missed. We got a question in chat. What operator are you? Well, I am playing IQ at the moment, and Raven was playing Mozzie. Now, I believe we both had some headgear on, so you might not have recognized us.
Yeah, I think I have the
SI.
Six Invitational Stadium headgear. Yeah.
That's it.
Right. I just went Sunrise again, so. Come meet me Sunrise.
Locate a bomb.
All right.
Oh my god, actually, apparently I clicked Kitchen. But come meet me Sunrise.
All right. I'll meet you Sunrise, mate. G'day.
Insertion
Not
in
my
5 seconds.
Oh, you're already here.
G'day. So, since we've got 2 drones
You
again,
must locate and
I kinda
defuse
wanna-
the bomb.
that's mean. I kind of want to show how you don't actually get a lot of warning if you're moving into a pest. So can you just put one on this door frame here?
On the door frame?
On like, as if you were, yeah, there you go. So once again, if I get close, the radius of the warning actually goes through walls, as you'll see, goes through surfaces. So I still get the warning over here. I can actually figure out whether it's on this side of the wall or not. The radius of the warning goes through walls, but not the radius of the pest actually jumping onto the drone. So I'll notice it's really like that noise is really loud when I'm on this side. If I back up, go to the other side, it's not loud at all, and I can actually see the pest right there. So that tells me I know for sure it's on the right side. Now, 2 things. I want to show you how to jump over these as well, if they're not placed well. But firstly, I want to show you what happens if you're just a bit too lax, because, you know, I'm only a meter or 2 away from the door, and I don't have any signals. But what if I'm just too relaxed moving forward? I'm going to try and press... I'm going to hold down W to walk forward, and as soon as I see the indicator, I'm going to take my finger off W, and we'll see whether I get too close. That was so close there. And that was
very close.
And that was me trying to do it immediately there. So if I was not anticipating, you know, stopping moving forward, I probably would have got hacked there. Same if I was just jumping around, you know, jumping around willy-nilly, I would probably get hacked. So you have to be extra cautious when you know there's a Mozzie in play, not to just, as we say, YOLO through the door frames.
Yeah. Yeah, and look, sometimes it's tricky to remember. That's where sometimes the early info in prep phase can be helpful. If you find out early that they have a Mozzie in prep phase, you can then try and remind yourself, okay, I should probably be a bit cautious when I drone through doorways. Or if you've got the IQ player, get IQ to just come and do like a sweep by with the scanner and just quickly check whether there's any pests nearby.
I want to try and jump over this. Can you put it on the door frame? I'm going to figure out which side it's on and put it in a way that it is possible for me to jump over it, and then you can explain how to make it so you can't jump over it. All right?
Okay.
So I'm going to go and figure out which side it's on. I'm going to get close. It seems like it's on the right side because that's really loud. I'm going to go around to the left side. Yeah, and it's really quiet, and I can see the pest right there. So that's a way to double check. You could probably have just taken the gamble and known that since it's so loud, it's got to be right there. And so that tells me that, once again, it's a sphere of effect. So if you trace my the middle of my screen, the sphere of effect is kind of like this, which means that my best shot at jumping over the pest is jumping over this corner. Now, another thing to keep in mind is that the pest needs line of sight. So even if I'm, you know, within the sphere, but there's no line of sight here, I won't get hacked. So my goal is to jump probably across on this direction. I need to try and jump over it as best as I can. I'm going to try and give it a shot. You can also, if you move your drone to look on a 9-degree angle to the way that you're moving, in theory, your drone is taking up less space because it's the drone is like a cylinder. Oh, I'm going to have a look at it in 3D. The drone is a cylinder, so if the radius is like this, for example, and my drone is facing that direction, it's got a smaller profile. So I sometimes try and like flip my drones mid-air to land on specific surfaces and dodge specific things. So let's give this a shot. I'll probably fail, but we'll find out. Oh, we did it. We did it.
Good job.
Thank you, bro. And that is how to jump over Mozzie pests. You got to find out which side of the door it's on, go to the other side of the door, and jump over it. Try and avoid the sphere of effect. Remember that it needs line of sight.
So, if you want to put your drone back out in whatever that room's called, I mean, this is starting to develop into a bit of a Mozzie tip, but
yeah, that's fine. That's
it also is like you have to be careful of stuff as a droner. People that play Mozzie a lot will probably think of tricks. So, I personally I always try and think about how I can outsmart people that are trying to drone in.
Oh, wait
so
for
if
me.
it
I'm
was
gonna come and have a look as a person, see what you're doing.
Yeah, okay. So basically, like, as Dev just demonstrated, if it's on the door frame, as a droner, you're gonna know, you'll get that indicator early, you'll get the sound cue of whereabouts it is, and then that's that. So I want to try and think about like where you can catch the droner off guard. So if it was me, there's a couple of things you could do. Sometimes what you can do is like just hide it in things on the ground. That's not a great example because those flyers don't have much tack, but wooden
It's
floor,
still pretty
I mean,
hard to
wooden
see,
floor
to be
is great.
honest. If I'm probably not looking at the ground right there. You know, I'm looking up here, and I get the signal, and I know I might get caught off guard. But I can just move around that thing. That's the problem.
Yes, you could. So the idea with that is you're actually trying to just catch it in a point where they think they're safe. They're going to be fast droning. So it's like Dev showed. If you're just going through really fast and you have to quickly stop, you're more than likely just going to get hacked anyway. So that's one thing you can do is you can try and use like things on the floor to try and hide the pest. The other thing I'll do is I'll just place it like slightly on the other side of the door. Actually, that's not exactly where I want it. Maybe. Yeah?
Yeah.
As they get near the door, you're probably not going to get much of a signal until you're at the door frame.
Yeah, exactly.
Correct?
I don't get the signal until I'm right here.
So if you're coming at an angle from outside, you're not going to know to slow down or even check that too much. You're probably just going to come through the door frame before you move.
Yeah.
And then you'll be straight in that line of sight.
Yeah. I don't know whether
again,
the
though,
sphere of
it's
effect
easy to
actually...
counter.
Yeah, it's true. I can jump over that one as well. Is there a way to do it, as far as I'm aware, so that I can't jump over it on the door frame?
Place it higher. So
If I recall correctly, yes. So the sphere of effect now, if you think about it, is kind of like...
It is potentially a very small gap in this corner. Because again, you think about it like a sphere, but I don't think I left a gap.
I don't think there is either. Let's try it.
Oh, I did. There you go. Yeah.
So you gotta be extra
that would have
careful.
been very narrow.
Yeah, it's so narrow, mate. So narrow. I wonder if I'm here safe, and then I turn to the right. Oh, I'm still safe. Wow. Okay. Interesting.
But yeah, that's another thing you have to think about. Is like if it's up higher, yeah, it stops the jump, but there's other vulnerabilities with it. So
yeah.
There
you go. Look, is that everything for droning? Aside from we're gonna do mute, but I figured since we got Mozzie and you have a drone and I have a drone, do you want to do a drone race real quick?
Drone race. All right, where are we racing?
All right, so we both got to start out at the sauna door. You can't go outside, obviously. You can't go outside.
Yep.
It's first one to top white wins. You can take any route, whichever you want. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. All right. First one to top white says, "Ready? 3, 2, 1, go!"
You started going early.
It's because of Discord delay. Get wrecked. It's all right. It's all right. I believe in you, Raven. I have to win at something.
I'm taking a different route just because I wanted to be
Good.
edgy.
Yeah, good. I like it. All right. I don't think it'll work.
No, you're gonna win.
Which way did you go?
I went through
Kitchen.
Blue Bar and then Drone Holder Office and then through security.
Oh, that was smart. I like
I thought
that.
it might be quicker. Yeah.
You want to do another race? We'll play what's it called? Horse. You want to do one more race? You get to pick the course. You get to pick the course.
Oh geez. Okay, let's start in aquarium. Okay, so we'll start under the default.
All right.
And let's say it's going to be first to the bathroom stall drone hole.
Ooh, okay, I like this. All right.
Yep.
Ready?
All right.
You call it. You call it.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
I think we both have the idea of which way to go.
I think we did too.
Oh no, we don't. We don't.
Oh. You've gone different?
Yep. I'm gonna win. Outplayed, mate. Outplayed.
Where did you go?
I jumped out a luggage window into courtyard.
Oh, okay.
And then
see, I was
came
going to
to
go down
lobby.
white, and I was going to try it and risk the timer outside. And go
Oh,
from outside.
really?
I got stuck on a garden ledge, though, so I lost
Oh,
my
you're trying to go out here like this, outside lobby. That's pretty smart. Look, I
Yeah.
respect that. That was pretty edgy. I respect that. Hey, that was fun. Not something you get to do every day. Drone racing.
That's fun.
All right, mute time.
Yeah, all right.
Sounds good.
Oh, you're behind me.
Op 4 eliminated.
My drone was outside. My operator was not.
I think when you were coming through courtyard, it sounded like you were outside because of the sound of your feet.
Oh yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. Unfortunate. All right, mute. So mute and Mozzie and Vigil, all really good operators to counter droning, and it's nice that we showed some ways to counter the counters to droning. Hey, it's a very thorough droning guide, isn't it?
Yes.
All right, what do you want to show us with mute? Where should I come to?
So just come to Sunrise again. Keep it consistent.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, he's
Locate a
very
bomb.
similar to Mozzie. So
10 seconds before
I don't think we'll have to go.
Drone has
Hello.
located a bomb. 5 seconds.
Didn't think about that.
You want to be outside or inside?
It doesn't matter.
I'll
Yeah.
show you.
The bomb.
The radius of the
Make your way
mute
to its
jams is
location and
significantly larger than the radius of the pests.
Test. Yeah.
So that's something to keep in mind. That's why Mute's also multi-purpose. He can jam breaching rounds, breaching charges, and thermite charges and stuff like that. But you'll notice that's quite a significant. I believe it is. If I stand here, 2 meter radius by the looks of it, judging by the ping system, 2 or 3 meters. So there is no way for me to jump over this mute jammer, even if it's on the side like that. No way. You also get
not.
I was gonna say you get the mute signals from way further away, so you know there's a mute jammer around.
Yeah. Really, the only way you're gonna be able to jump over a mute jammer is if you're able to elevate your drone somehow. That's usually the best way to be able to do it. Or if they've placed it at like a really weird spot, you might be able to jump past it. But generally, nah. Like if it's placed at a doorway like that, you won't be able to drone past it. You'll actually have to clear it.
Another great
So that's why
point
mute is
of
really
difference.
strong.
Another great point of difference here is that my drone's actually muted here in Sauna because it doesn't need line of sight, unlike the pests which do need line of sight.
True. Yeah, true. The other thing though is you don't lose your drone, so you can come pick it up and it can do it
Diffuser has
again.
been recovered.
And so a counter then to mute would be doing, like, let's say I'm out here and I want a drone in there, I could just throw it in
Yeah.
instead.
Yeah. Exactly. Just eat it past.
Yeah, and it won't get jammed. It might get jammed mid-air, but that doesn't matter, right? Because it only is jammed while it's in the radius. Unlike the pest, like if you
Correct.
threw a drone past a pest, then the pest would hack it. But if you throw it past a mute jammer, it'll only be jammed while it's in the radius. So by the time it lands on the other side, it won't be jammed anymore.
Correct. Oh, of course, the other thing is that mute jammers go above. Like we're saying, but it means that you can place mute jammers up on things and get the floor above. But also, like if you place that mute jammer on the bar like that, you can drone like right past it. It's not really going to make any effects to that drone. Now I'm not sure if that's going to get hookah floor. I'm not sure if the
I'll go outside.
I'm not sure if that is enough, but.
I can definitely see the signals, and yep, I mean, I went in through the left side of the
does.
doorway, but
Cool.
it did get me, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so I mean, that's something else you have to think about is even though you get the signals, the mute jammer might not always be like exactly where you think it is because the signals don't differentiate in strength like they do with the pests.
Yes, yeah.
It's just a signal.
Yeah, you get like it does. Actually, is it actually completely the same no matter what distance?
It's just sound, I think, that changes. Doesn't
Yeah, I
it just
think-
get slightly
I think
louder
you're
as you get
right.
closer?
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
true. So that jammed both my drones here. Shows how big the radius is of the mute jammer. In fact, because I get the little screen icon saying I'm within a mute jammer, I can show you the effective radius. It's huge. It's like I don't know, 4 meters. If it's like 2 meter radius, that means it's like 4 meters diameter, which is huge.
Yeah, it's really big. So it's much harder to counter for drones. So if you have a choice between a mute or a Mozzie, mute's probably a better option in terms of raw, just like countering drone power. Whereas I guess Mozzie has other flexibilities, but
And Mozzie, you actually get the
Mute
drone,
really tough to counter.
and you get to keep it and use it for yourself. Whereas Mute, you just jam it. And also with Mozzie, you know, once the drone's been hacked, there's no way to get it back. Whereas with Mute, if I, like, let's say, you know, you've put a jammer here. Can you chuck one down?
Yeah.
Let's say I'm droning in, and let's say there's no one in Sunrise, but there is the jammer here. I try and drone in, it gets jams, I have a look around, I decide to just YOLO it. I see the jammer, I shoot it, and now my drone is free again. So you can counter, you can like recollect your drones afterwards, and there are strengths and weaknesses of Mozzie and Mute.
Absolutely, and that's where having a Mute and a Mozzie is incredibly strong, because it makes it very hard to drone out. And if you've also banned Thatcher, for example, if you're talking about ranked, or if we talk about competitive, if Thatcher is banned and you have Mute and Mozzie, it's incredibly difficult to drone. Like, you really have to have an efficient IQ player that's checking doorways for you and says, hang on, jammer, and then you clear it, and that slows down things a lot.
Alright, I think that's all of what I wanted to go over for drones, and we've been doing this for a bit over an hour now, about an hour, so that's pretty thorough. Do you want to do the drone crawling thing, or do you just want to move on to problem solving?
We'll just move on, but basically, like, my point is, there's more ways to move your drone than just holding a button.
Yeah.
Like, you can try and produce less sound by just being careful. Also, circling around the outside of the room just generally means you're keeping your drone, like, further away from the player. So that just means it's less loud. Whereas, like, I've seen people, they'll just drone a room, and they'll just take the path straight through the middle. Because that's kind of like, that's natural human psyche, right? As you're trying to get through the room, so you naturally just think you're just going to drone through the middle, but if you take it around the outside, you produce less sound, and you're keeping it away from potential roamers. So, just, yeah, you just have to think about whether you want to keep your drone hidden or not in that instance. And obviously there's a strength if you do, because you can keep eyes on that player for longer.
Yeah, and I guess the last thing is that there is so much control that you have over your drone with simply WASD and spacebar. You have so much control over the mobility of your drone, and this isn't something we can necessarily teach you right now. This is kind of something that you're going to have to learn yourself over time. For example, where you're looking affects how you jump. If I'm looking down, I jump basically just straight horizontally. I don't actually jump vertically at all. And the higher I look, the higher I jump. And the less far forward I go, but the more far upwards. And if I look directly upwards and I jump, I actually don't move forward at all. So, for example, let's say I'm behind the bar here, and you're on the other side of the room, on the other side of the bar. I jump directly upwards, and I look up, I can see you, and then I get behind the bar again. And you know, likewise, you know, when you're mid-air, you can kind of have some more control over what you're doing as well. You can try and flip your drone around mid-air, or do other things to try and fit through different sized gaps and that kind of thing. I highly recommend just, you know, have a play around with your drone, whether that's in a quick match or in a ranked match in the prep phase, or whether that's I'm literally holding that C4. I guess it's gonna drop when I get off my cams. Or, you know, jump into a training grounds and just drone. So yeah, it's a lot of fun you can have with drones. A lot of value you can get out of them. And I just want to reiterate that, in my opinion, your drones can be just as, if not more important than the gadgets that you actually bring.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, there's a reason that it's referred to actually as drone economy. It's like money in this game. It's really valuable, and the more drones you have, the more infinitely beneficial that is for you as an attacker. So you've got to think about conserving that and just deciding when it's worth really being aggressive with your drone, all those kinds of things. Just using it effectively can be incredibly strong. If you follow competitive scene, I often see jokes on Twitter from North American players talking about the SSG drones. Apparently they're incredibly effective with their drones, and unfortunately that is a little bit difficult to see sometimes when you watch a game. But yeah, there's a reason some teams are really good, and sounds like their droning is fantastic.
Great. I do have one last tip that I didn't even think of until now. If you hold down your throw drone button, so for me I've rebounded to 3. If I hold down 3, not only do you hold out your drone and then releasing it will throw it, you actually get a crosshair. You get a little white dot in the center of your screen. So you can then aim, and even like if you want to do a perfect lineup of a drone spot, I've seen people do some crazy cross-map drones, you know, from spawn up through a window or whatever. If you're struggling to aim just by, you know, looking with your crosshair and then throwing the drone, give it a shot of actually holding down the button, and you actually get the crosshair out, and you can throw it wherever you want.
I thought of one more drone ship.
Hey!
It's super niche. I don't know.
Let's
it's
do
kind
it.
of
Let's do
yeah.
it.
So you can do little tricks with claymores.
Oh yes.
So, yeah, if you just want to place it down and use a drone. I've seen this implemented like actually before, and I'll explain how. But
So the laser of the claymore is what guides the detonation, right?
yeah.
So if the drone is blocking this line of sight laser, if you stand here, do it, Raven. Stand in the laser spot.
Here.
Do you want me to angle out the claymore so that the?
Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna try and block. Move out of the way so that you don't die if I mess this up. Alright,
15 seconds
I'm gonna
left.
try and block the second one as well.
Alright.
There you go.
Alright.
Look at that! And Raven is fully
10
safe right
seconds.
there. And you can even potentially block
you
the
can
whole
move it.
thing. Or I could just.
5 seconds remaining.
Now as soon as I move, I'm dead.
Oh! Your leg was
Time expired.
between two lasers. That was Mission Impossible.
Oh, is that what that
moment right
was?
there.
Is that what
Look
that
at the
was?
look at the kill cam. That was awesome.
Okay, I didn't realize that that's where my legs were going to be spaced, so that worked out really well.
Wow, that was amazing, bro.
So what I've actually seen done before is people planted a claymore, like where they've planted a diffuser, and they put claymore down facing diffuser. Then instead of placing the drone to look at the diffuser, they placed it to block the claymore. So then they just waited for the defender to come up to try and counter defuse and move the drone.
That's hilarious. I love it.
Because obviously, like, you don't notice the claymore as much until you see the lasers.
Yeah, for sure. And I've also seen people use Mozzie's drone to block a claymore so that they can flank without destroying the claymore as well.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Amazing. All right, do you want to jump on to some problem-solving tips? Now, this is something I know you're pretty interested in, so I'll let you kind of take the lead here. But yeah, why don't we jump into that on any map, any particular?
Sevilla, maybe?
Sure, let's do it.
All right. Yeah. Wait, what did I just push? Did I not just push start? Oh, there we go.
There we go.
It just took a while to start.
So once again, guys, in chat, if you're watching this live on YouTube or Twitch, I'm watching both chats. So feel free to chuck a question in there if it's something just for me or Raven that's not related to what we're currently talking about, or if it is related. Oh, by the way, what operator do you want? Since we got a quick pick phase. What should I bring?
Doesn't really matter, to be honest. Like, just go whoever.
All right. So yeah, as I was saying, howdy there, everyone. If you do have a specific question, like let's say, because we're talking about problem solving, if you know, whether there's a roamer running around or whatever, or a deployable shield or a mirror window, we're trying to talk about how to problem solve these things. If you have a specific scenario, maybe you've struggled with in one of your games in the past, feel free to present that to us and we'll try and address that as well. And if you have any other questions, if you don't quite understand something we're saying, feel free to say that as well, and we'll do our best to help you out.
Your mission is to locate and defuse a bomb.
100%. So, if you want to meet me down in... Oh, actually, no, come up to 90.
All right. Oops, that's the wrong button.
So if anybody... where are you coming from? Are you coming from
I'm
downstairs?
coming from Fountain at the moment. I will rappel into the skull window.
Okay.
Where did I put my drone? I want my drone back. Hello.
Epic. Hello. I was going to say, if anyone's ever wondered, this plant is called a Diffenbachia. You can look it up. That's what it is.
Wow. You really
They're
need to start
everywhere.
your own plants show. It'd be like gardening Australia, but it'll be like gardening Tasmania. And
I'm sure that's never been done. Anyway,
yeah.
so we're just gonna kind of wing this a bit, but a common problem I've seen is some people want to open vault or they want to open a wall. Okay, let's try and generalize. They want to open a wall, and there's an issue. I mean, these days when you're playing ranked or competitive, Thatcher is banned a lot, right? So he can be pretty tricky, or it can be pretty tricky to deal with things like walls if he's banned, and maybe Maverick's banned as well. So how are you gonna open this if it's muted?
Okay, can hear there's a mute jammer on the other side. I can try to shoot open the top and then throw a grenade over and destroy it.
Definitely one option.
But then you might have an ADS to protect it.
Do. So, one way I would always think about like clearing things like this, if it's me, is going below and doing verticality. So we could do that.
I've just pinged it so I can see where it kind of translates to downstairs, and it's in this next room over here. Okay. Right here. So I could use a breaching round from Ash, or I could just shoot it. Do you have a preference?
Just go breaching round though.
That actually did destroy that jammer, and now I can see this is the wall, and there's nothing on it anymore, and so my thermite or my Havana or my ace could open it up now.
Perfect. And so the example we wanted to do is like, when there's a stall point or something that stalls you, you can think about so many different ways to fix it. So Dev's first instinct was shoot out above and maybe go with a grenade over. Maybe there were ADSs, so that's one hurdle. My instinct is to usually try and clear it vertically. Obviously that has its own pros and cons as well. It means you have to drone out below, maybe push two people below. Yeah, like it's not that simple. Nothing's ever simple in Siege, but so with Dev's first instinct, if there were ADSs, well, there's solutions to that as well. So
yeah,
maybe
I have stun grenades.
Yeah.
And so even I could just, to check if there are ADSs before my sledge or whatever throws a grenade over, I could just throw one stun, and if it detonates, I know that there's no ADS or magnet, and then my sledge immediately goes and preps a grenade to throw over. There's pros and cons though to this, because the con to opening up this hole is that if there's a defender on the opposite side with an impact grenade, let's say my thermite places the exothermic charge here, the defender on the other side might be able to toss up, I'll just pretend to be that defender for a second. If I'm on the other side, and I use my impact grenade, I want it to land on the roof about there. If that detonates on the roof, the explosion might actually reach that exothermic charge and then counter the hard breach. So there's so many different ways that this could play out, and there's no way that it is devoid of risk.
No, everything will always have its risks. Everything also has like another way to counter it. But in general, trying to problem solve in Siege, just want to try and keep it simple. That's the way I always think about it. Is just keep it simple. So if I look at a wall and there's something stopping me from opening it, like, okay, what's the gadget? If it's a Kaid Electric Claw, for example, that can be even trickier. And then maybe the simple explanation for that is let's ignore the wall. Like, that is a legitimate solution sometimes. It's like, let's try and figure out a strategy with not opening that wall. But in this instance, it's a mute jammer. So for me, like, what's really simple is just quickly, if this hatch wasn't open, you usually have an operator that can open it. Yeah. Quickly opening that, droning out below, taking that control, and I'm like, there's extra benefits. If you took the Ash below to open that, you now also have a line of sight into Vault, so you can cut or rotate vertically as well if you want to stay down there. But just trying to think about it really simple and not overthinking it, because you can really get stuck in that trap of, oh, okay, let's just nade over. Oh, there's ADSs. I'm going to burn with stuns. And then there's magnets as well. And you're like, oh, now I don't have enough stun grenades.
Yeah, or maybe you run out of utility.
What do I do?
Yeah, you run out of utility, you hit a brick wall. And I think what you bring up is a great point. We can problem solve something like this and theory craft ways that we can counter it, and ways that they can counter us countering them, and ways that we can counter them countering us countering them, and ways that they can counter us countering them countering us countering them. But also sometimes you can just be like, look, let's bypass this wall. I know it's going to be hard, but if they're focused here on trying to counter us countering them countering us countering them, and trying to be on this wall, then we can move over and just try to push from the brown stairs or from this aviator door, or maybe push classical hallway. Yep. And if I use all of my breaching rounds and my frag grenades trying to counter them, countering us, countering them, countering us, countering them, then I'm not going to have any breaching rounds to destroy, you know, the deployable shield that might be over here or whatever.
Absolutely, and that's where communicating is really effective. You don't have to problem solve all by yourself. Maybe if you're solo queuing, you might do, but that obviously has its own very unique pros and cons if you're a solo queue player. But as a team, you want to communicate. So if you've got only 2 frag grenades, then yeah, you need to think about it. So you're like, hey guys, we're stalled at Vault Wall. We need to frag it. Is there anything else that we need to frag? And someone might say, oh, there's a shield in Aviator. We have to clear that. and then it might be a shield also in bar. So you're like, okay, well that's 2 shields. Can't get all 3 things. So it's like, what are we gonna do? Maybe you just decide to ignore Vault because you want to clear those shields. That's probably a great call.
Yeah.
But either way, you have to think about multiple counters. Someone in chat just said you could even use the drone hole. That's true. Like you could try and roll a grenade through that. Again, you're still going to have the ADS or the magnet issues, but you don't have to open up the hole above at least, which also then doesn't open up the impact tricking scenario that Dev brought up. So yeah, that's definitely an option, and that's great. That's another solution that you can think of.
You might even be able to shoot the jammer through the drone hole if you destroy the little case here by shooting it, and then you just destroy the chairs here or move to the side. Depending on where you put that mute jammer on the other side, I might be able to shoot it.
Do you want to place it?
Yeah, go for it. Just place it in what you would consider like a fairly normal spot.
For me, I pretty much always just go in the middle.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able, I don't think I would be able to shoot that. So, but if it was over here, then I would be able to shoot it. Or if it was a bit further back, I would be able to shoot it. Cool.
Absolutely.
Or if it was a bandit battery, then I might be able to shoot it, you know?
Bandit batteries are even thicker, so
yeah, exactly.
So what I was going to say is, like, sometimes it's not even about countering things, it's just deciding whether it's really even necessary.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Some people get very bogged into, I see people open this wall all the time, so I should probably just open it. But then there's a mute jammer, and then you're not sure whether you should still do it or not. I would say it's really important not to get bogged down in that detail. Just, if you can't do it, then figure out a new solution. It's like we're saying, there's always ways to counter stuff. And just because you weren't able to open a wall, doesn't mean you can't progress. To use a competitive example, I still remember when this map was somewhat fresh, people really struggled to attack on Villa. And it was because it was hard to open walls because of all the impact tricking you could do. And then there was a match where I think there was like Thatcher and Maverick banned, and it was really hard to be hard breacher, so nobody could open walls. But it ended up being that both sides won 4 attacks and 2 defenses. And my theory behind that is they just kept it simple. They didn't focus too much on opening the walls because it was going to be too hard. So both those teams in that match decided just to keep it simple. They played a lot more vertical play, so a lot more buck. Just bucked players out of positions, got frags vertically. They used buck to clear utility, and it just made attacking simpler. So sometimes the best counter is just to keep it simple. You don't have to always open walls or maybe even clear a shield. It might not always be necessary.
Definitely a great lesson to be learned there. And this kind of goes hand in hand with sometimes if you're playing, especially I would say if you're solo queuing, you know, I think like you were saying, people think, oh, I have to open up this wall. That's what everyone does, so I have to open it up. Sometimes it's better to have your entire team commit to a not as great idea rather than having 5 players on your team commit to 5 different ideas. If you have one person go downstairs to try and clear the util, but your hard breach isn't even going to try and go for the wall, and then your guy downstairs, thanks Raven, and then your guy downstairs ends up dying to a roamer, and you have one other person who's trying to hard breach the study walls, but no one's helping them, and you can't get rid of the util, then yeah, it's sometimes it's better to just, let's all just push through this door, or let's try and push through this door and this door, and it's not flawless, and yes, they could counter us, but at least we're doing it together, and we have a chance of maybe refragging it out or what have you.
Exactly right. I have panicked and not chosen a good operator, so...
Nice. Well, I picked Ace, but do you have any deployable shields or mirror windows?
I don't. I was trying to find one, and I got lost. Because I still can't remember who has them these days.
Well, you do have reinforcements, and who do you got? Who you got?
10 seconds before insertion.
I went Maestro.
Oh, that's not so bad.
5 seconds before insertion.
That's not so bad. I can destroy the Maestro cams, actually, with Ace. Only if you put them on
and
decent
defuse the
spots.
bomb.
Whereabouts are you?
Master bedroom.
Alright, cool. Can you reinforce some of the master walls?
Yeah. It's funny, I was already doing that, and then when you said, can you reinforce, I was like, oh, I better stop. But hey.
So, this is great, Raven. I already see this happening, unfolding in my brain. So, let's say you're a defender now. We're talking about things from the defender's perspective. And the attackers, they just keep on breaching this master wall, which is exposing all your players. Maybe they're using Ace and they're throwing them onto the wall. Maybe they're using Hibana. And let's say your Kaid or your whatever wall denial operators you're bringing, it's not effective. Maybe there's a Thatcher, or maybe they're going below to destroy it. You could do something like what Raven's doing with an Evil Eye. So he's playing Maestro and he's chucked one into this corner. And what Raven can do when I put the Selma on the wall is he can actually shoot it off by opening up, and that'll destroy the Selma. So let's show how that works, and then I'll show you a way that I can counter what Raven's doing. You ready, Raven?
Yeah.
Oh, and it didn't even get anything done because he was so ready just then. And when that happens, I'm probably scratching my head and thinking, what just happened? I might eventually figure out there's an Evil Eye down here, and I'm probably going to look at it and smile and wave and be like, hey, I can't destroy this Evil Eye, it's bulletproof. And at this point, maybe Raven's teammate is going to try and do it. Yeah, I mean, I could shoot it if you open the shutters. Or I could call my Sledge to come and get rid of it, or I could get them to use a grenade, or my Yana to use a grenade. Or I could throw a Selma at you. And there you go. So
rude.
The Selma, if it's placed on any destructible surface, it will detonate. So on the destructible floor here, it opens up the claws, and then the claws will destroy the Evil Eye. That said, Raven can adapt to that by putting it on the wall instead.
Oh.
Because the wall is not destructible, let's say in a previous round, I destroy your Evil Eye with my Selma. Now I try and go and do this again, and I'm like, yeah, well, that didn't work. Let me try again. That didn't work. And yeah, you can try and shoot it off. If you try and shoot it off, I'm just going to shoot it though. But another way that you can kind of counter different things there and problem solve issues. Like if you're always losing because of this Evil Eye, maybe I could just bring a Thatcher and it opens up and disables the Evil Eye. Maybe I could bring a Twitch to try and open up and disable the Evil Eye.
Absolutely. There's so many different explosives as well. Like you can bring Zofia, Ash, anyone with nades, which can hit it directly. I think you said that already. Like there's a lot of counters to that kind of thing. And again, sometimes if that kind of thing is really troubling you, a great example is at the moment there's a meta in competitive play where someone plays this really hard to flush out position in the closet with a shield and a shotgun. And it's really not that easy to flush out, and they have a teammate backing them up from Astro. Sometimes you can just look at that and say, you know what, I'm just not going near that. And just push from a different direction.
Yeah, for sure. And look, in this specific example, like we're talking problem solving, right? Problem solving means that, you know, we're talking about ideal situations. You know, we have a Sledge left. Maybe it's just me, the Ace, and the IQ left, and we have no utility to get rid of this Evil Eye right here. Absolutely nothing we can do. Well, that's not true. We can still do something. Let's say I'm the Ace and you're the let's say you're the hard breacher. You're trying to put things on the wall. Okay. And actually, no, you gotta be the Maestro. You gotta be the Maestro. We have to have an imaginary teammate. Let's say my imaginary hard breacher is trying to hard breach the wall, and I'm the second player, and I can't destroy the Evil Eye. But what I can do is stand in front of it. And now, let's say the hard breach is going off on the wall. What are you gonna try and do? You're gonna open it up and try and shoot it? Well, I can just shoot the Evil Eye straight away. If you open it up, you're exposing yourself. I can shoot it or body block it or whatever, and that leaves the hard breach to be successful.
Yeah, so you have to constantly just try and think of solutions on the fly and try and figure out how you're going to deal with the problem. And the great thing about Siege is there's always many solutions. Yep. So you don't have to get too stalled out on it. Again, you can keep it simple. But yeah, don't freak out, don't stall. The worst thing you can do, which I see a lot of sometimes, is like, let's say it's this example that we had, where there's an Evil Eye and they can't hard breach wall. People just stand here holding these angles, and they're like, "Oh man, we can't get this wall open.
What are we gonna do?
Oh no!
Yeah.
What are we gonna do?" And then you just stand here for like a whole minute, and no solution happens.
Yeah.
But there's always stuff. So just slow down, think about it. Utility is always the answer. Otherwise, in my opinion, keeping it simple and probably just avoiding it is the next simplest thing you could do.
And I think this brings up, you know, a great point, which is that countering things is not just about, you know, I have A, which trumps, like, I have this thing that trumps whatever your thing is. So in that example, right, sometimes you don't have frag grenades to deal with the Evil Eyes from Maestro. you just have to get creative and figure out other ways to deal with it. And sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. A great example is I could body block, but then you might counter that by having someone come up from bathroom as a defender and try and peek us while we're distracted. And I don't have anyone to watch that. Well, maybe my person that's left over trying to watch the Evil Eye is actually a nomad, and I can put an air jab on the door from Astro and one on the door from Stat, and now I am safe to watch the Evil Eye. So there's always an answer. Like you're saying, sometimes that answer is to avoid the problem, but Rainbow Six has gotten to a point where it's not like they bring a bandit, therefore I bring Thatcher, they bring this, therefore I bring that. You know, it's like there is so many different permutations, and the best players in the world think of creative solutions to problems that aren't just, I have the operator that hard counters their operator.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the great thing about if you do manage to catch some of the top level play in the various leagues around the world, you will get to see some really cool little counters to things that you didn't realize were a thing. And then you can then implement those into your gameplay. I mean, impact tricking is one of the best examples of that. That really came from developing in the competitive scene, and it's flowed through to the point where you see it all the time now. People throwing these impacts over the top.
Keep one there. And have you got a spare? I can. You know,
I do, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna put a Selma on the wall. Now I noticed someone in chat asked how this operator works. I believe you were asking about Ace. Ace is a new hard breacher added in Operation Steel Wave. He throws a Selma canister on the wall and it detonates in 3 sections. We've actually done a whole episode on Ace. I recommend going back and watching that if you go to the Rainbow Six ANZ YouTube channel. I believe it was episode
7.
Was it 7?
We did it with Emma, didn't we? I think.
No, we did it with Gucky and.
Oh, that was episode 4. I think we've done it twice.
Maybe we have. Maybe we have.
Briefly.
Yeah, episode 4 or episode 7. Yeah, go watch both of those for a full breakdown. But let's show how Raven can counter it with an impact grenade. Are you ready?
Yeah. Hopefully I don't stop it up.
There you go. And you destroyed it before it could even breach anything. And now I'm all out of gadgets. I can't get the wall open. And now we have to get creative and figure out how to attack this bomb site without the wall.
Yeah. And you know what? That's not half bad because that angle works both ways.
Yeah.
So
I could throw, you know, stuns or frags over the top.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Do we want to keep going with more counters or?
I have one more. I want to show because we haven't done shields yet. I want you to pick Lamai and I will pick Ash, and I want to show what the do's and don'ts of countering a setup from that. Okay. And I finally wanted to win a round because you've been winning all the rounds today.
Okay. There's a question in chat about biggest mistakes we see when new players make in terms of problem solving.
Glad you asked. I actually have that. That is the tip. My tip is very much related to that right now. But I will save it until we're in game. You go first.
My main one is basically what I was saying before, in that new players really often will just stall. They stop thinking. It's like they think so much that they stop thinking. So they just stand still and hold an angle, or they
10 seconds to
think about things so much they get really scared and they don't move and don't actually take action.
5 seconds.
So my advice would be just, especially as a new player, it's okay to make mistakes. Like if you have an idea, just go with it. Just go with that straight away. And if it doesn't work out, well, now you know next time, don't do that. If it works out, well, you know next time, do it again.
Exactly.
But either way, at least you've got that options. Whereas like if you just stall and you do absolutely nothing, you'll never know maybe what you could or should not have done.
Yeah. All right. Have you set up your Wamai shield and magnets at top round stairs?
I have not, because while I was talking, I stopped moving.
That's all right. Please do that and let me know when you're done. I'm gonna emulate, even from the start, droning. Sorry, what was that?
Where exactly do you want this?
Shield can be anywhere top round. Trying to protect study from study.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
So I'm gonna theory craft that maybe I'm playing Ash. Maybe I'm even solo queuing here. And first thing I do when I jump on this balcony before I try and enter study is probably drone it. I want to know that there's not someone just aggressively peeking about to run out on me. I should probably drone it first. I've got myself into a safe position here. I'm not just standing in the middle of the balcony where I could get shot from inside the room. Standing in a safe place where they really have to commit in order to kill me. So I'm going to drone up. First thing, I check study. There's no one playing aggressively in here. Let's theory craft that the bomb site is actually Aviator and Games itself. So it is this room here. So I want to make sure I can enter, but I know I've got to worry about the door to Aviator and the door here to top brown. Let's say I want to push top brown. I see, ooh, that right there is a shield, and I see a person behind it. I'm going to move my drone so I don't lose the shield. My first instinct as an Ash or someone with grenades is probably just get my breaching charge out and go boom and destroy it right now. And this is actually one of the biggest mistakes I think new players make in terms of problem solving, because I'm not thinking ahead here. If I go and use this breaching round, well, what I don't know, because I haven't droned it, is that there's a magnet right above this door, and that's going to chew up this breaching round, and then I'm going to only have one more chance to get rid of that shield, and it means I will only if after I do that, I won't even have a second one to breach anything else, whether that's another shield. Maybe I get to this corner, there's another shield down the hallway. So you want to really conserve this utility as much as possible and use less valuable utility to waste any gadgets. So even without droning out and knowing that there's a magnet there, instead of just peeking this, I've droned out and I know there's a shield there. I could play safely back from here and throw in a flashbang. That catches out one magnet. But I think, and now I know that I've destroyed a magnet, I think, oh, maybe there's more magnets. Maybe there's an ADS. So I'm going to use another stun grenade. How many more have you got there, by the way? Oh, actually, don't tell me. Don't tell me. Don't tell me.
Okay. All right. There might be more.
All right. I'm going to throw one out. That one detonated without getting caught by the magnet. So now I know there's no more utility left, and I can just use my breaching round on the shield, and that forces Raven to either run away or try and take a fight. That's why I should try and switch back to my gun as soon as possible and be ready to take a fight. And there you go, I problem solved. I have no stun grenades left, but I have one breaching round left. So it means if I round the next corner and there's another shield, pretty common spot would be a shield here, I can still breach that. Now there might be more magnets and I might lose my last breaching round and run out, but that's why, this is a team game, right? This is why you need your teammates. So yeah, if I try and destroy it and it gets caught by that magnet, I am now basically out of utility, and this is where I should really be talking to my teammates and saying, look guys, I'm out, there's a shield here. Maybe we can, avoid the shield. Maybe instead I try and breach this wall or whatever, or just shoot it open. So overall, my tip is, instead of just getting a bit too overzealous, especially when it comes to using your explosives to destroy gadgets, throw in a stun grenade first. Throw in, if you're Zofia, throw in a concussion before you throw in the explosive, just to check that there's nothing catching it. If it's an ADS from Jaeger, that each ADS device can destroy 2 projectiles. So if you throw in 1 concussion and it gets destroyed by an ADS, you know that you have to throw in at least 1 more concussion. And if you have the utility to spare, I recommend throwing in an extra stun grenade like I did. Just keep throwing in stun grenades until one actually goes off, and that tells you there's no more gadgets, and then you can use your breaching rounds.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that.
This is my first time watching Rainbow Six. I have no clue what you're doing, says someone in chat. Well, I hope that this is informative. I hope this is helping you, because that's part of our goal. We really want to help. Not just we're not here to play pro matches or whatever. We're here to give you guys tips that can be used at any level, whether you're just playing training rounds, whether you're playing quick match, ranked, unranked, or I guess if you're playing pro league, you're probably going to be talking to your coach or whatever instead. But hey, who knows?
Wait, is that all you have for countering? Because I'm feeling maybe we could even just go into some gameplay.
Let's do it. Oh, I missed. Oh, that was embarrassing. That was embarrassing.
Eliminated.
Very, very embarrassing. I would say don't look, but now everyone gets to see.
Well, now I even get to watch it quickly on the stream. So, oh yeah, I saw. Ha.
Pretty terrible.
Nice.
Let's back out. And, let's do some quick match, and we can now try and put some of these tips into practice. And if you guys have any requests about specific things that you'd like advice on, like if you want us to pick a specific operator because you don't know how to use that operator, or you want tips, or you have random questions about me or Raven, we can be reasonably interesting people sometimes. So feel free to ask us whatever you like, and we'll do our best to answer. And we'll play quick match for about 30, 45 minutes, and then we'll close the stream.
Absolutely. So yeah, go nuts, guys. I have lots of stories.
That sounds ominous. Let's,
it just comes with being old, bro.
Washed up and old. Wow, must be tough.
Oh, jeez.
I am gonna read through the chat for a minute.
Okay.
So taking mental notes, good on ya. It is I was looking at buying it. Great. Well, I definitely recommend getting your hands on Rainbow Six Siege. It is a great game to get into, as Callum4 has said. And it definitely can be challenging at the start. I totally understand that, and that's why we've got resources like Late Night Siege to try and help you guys get into it.
Yeah, and on top of that, Callum4 also brought up a good point. It is a lot of work, but it feels really rewarding. I still remember when I first started playing, it was very tough. But that's why I enjoyed it, because personally I'm very competitive and I like a challenge. And once I started to feel confident with the game, it just felt really, really good. It was like incredibly rewarding and enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a couple of ones coming through now. I got one from Shane on Magic. What tips do you have for new players who usually play other popular shooters that are different to Siege? Now, the number one thing that is really particular about Siege that you might not be familiar with, let's say you play, a Call of Duty or a Halo or something, you're used to respawning. Keep in mind that in Rainbow Six, your life is really important. You need to, you will take risks, but sometimes it's also important to, value your life a bit more than you would in other games. Don't just run in guns blazing. You've got drones. Slow down and think things through before you YOLO it. That's my main tip.
Yeah, and I guess to add to that as well, there's a lot of other shooters that don't have as much emphasis on not gunplay. So with Siege, it is about talking with your teammates, trying to get information, whether it's through a drone or a camera, and just using your gadgets as well. The gunplay is about half the game, but potentially even more of the game is actually other things that isn't just shooting. So, like Dev said, value your life a little bit more. Don't go so fast. And utilize those other things: communication, intel gathering, gadgets, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely worth taking some time to learn the mechanics of the game. Droning is a big one. Because there's the prep phase, there's the action phase, and communication is another great point. When you play other shooters, you don't really need to talk to your teammates as much. There's not as much to talk about. It might be more obvious what you need to do to coordinate, but I highly recommend communicating. I also recommend finding people to play with. If you don't have any friends that play this game, when you're playing quick match, just if you find someone in game that you enjoy playing with, maybe they've been talking to you, or maybe they were just nice, or you got along well with them for some reason, add them as a friend on Uplay and say hey, or on Xbox Live or on PlayStation, whatever program it is that you use, and then invite them to play together. And it's so much more fun with people, and it definitely is much easier with people as well.
And that's literally how I got into my first team. People I enjoyed playing with. And then, we just made a team. Played competitively, and that was it.
Top Dragon was clear, by the way. So right now, me and Raven are not really hyper-coordinating, but we are, doing our best to work together.
Yeah, I was just thinking I should probably come with you.
That's all right. I'm kind of working with my teammates upstairs anyway, Is there any denial on the maintenance wall, by the way?
Didn't seem like there was. No holes above it either.
They are.
Have you gone above?
They have a prone hole underneath the wall to the door to site. I'm gonna go. I'm opening the yellow wall now. I open up maintenance.
I'll come with.
Bomb has been located.
Whoa! Hello! I can't believe I won that fight.
Oh.
I'm opening blue wall now.
He's on site. I got
Very nice.
4 eliminated.
There you go.
Hey.
I'm gonna say hello, and then I am afraid I will have to turn off team chat just in case. Just in case.
Do you have voice off as well?
I don't, but I can feel the love right now. Love you guys too. I will have to mute them just to
play this game. I just got it.
I will mute them just in case, You can't be too careful.
There are some requests for some Ying play, by the way, Dev.
Ooh, okay. All right, I'll try.
I would play it, but they can't see me, so.
Yeah, no, unless if I die, which is pretty likely, let's be honest. All right, Let's jump back into chat. I recently got Pulse. I've no idea how to use him properly. If you could be so kind as to show tactics with him, that would help tremendously. He seems like he can be good if you can use him right. That is a great point. You know, he's a great operator. Now, when we jump on defense, we can definitely play him.
Yes. I love Pulse.
Will there be late night Siege on
really
Friday next week? Yes, I believe so. I believe we have an episode lined up for next week. Should be every week. With only exceptions. If there are any exceptions, we will let you know. Make sure you follow Rainbow6ANZ on Twitter, and you follow me and Raven as well for more updates.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Good job.
Beat you to it, man. Beat you to it. Where is the objective? Is it throne again? Oh, it looks like it is, because that wall's reinforced.
Insertion.
Is it?
No, I think it is. But they've got wall denial on the maintenance wall now.
Insertion.
Okay, yeah, they're gonna meet.
So see, my drone here is placed in a hallway. I saw smoke went maintenance. Smoke's going
located
up
and
Dragon
defused.
Stairs, I think. Capcan's going maintenance. There are 3 going maintenance. They're heavy maintenance. We should go the other side, I reckon. But we don't have any hard breaches.
barrel?
Makes this hard. Yeah. I don't know. We can't breach barrel wall
okay.
anyway, so
You must recover the diffuser.
I guess we have to
The
YOLO it.
diffuser has been secured.
Where are you? Are you behind
There
me?
was 1 maintenance for McBeady. Okay, Capcan traps too. Alright, maintenance is clear.
Okay.
You have located a bomb.
That was
McBeady
from
just died.
site door. Can you shoot the cam above me? Don't worry, I got it. Oh, this is down. I'm just gonna prone peek this. Bit of a YOLO. 1 lit site.
Oh, one at
Longer
throne.
in your possession.
Here's a toughie for you. Oh, sorry. Absolutely terrifying.
I've got a drone at your 90 that I'm
The
watching.
diffuser
So
is
that's
now
good.
secured. Drop the diffuser.
This guy's a god.
1 friendly operator remaining.
He's still left side. Are you being flanked, yellow? Oh,
My
Friendlies
bad.
have been eliminated.
It was a toughie. That was a toughie. But hey, that's why you bring hard breach, guys. I haven't really talked about team compositions, but yeah, bringing hard breach definitely would have made that easier instead of having to funnel through specific
absolutely.
walls.
Absolutely.
I'll pick you. Oh, there's only 2 rounds of attack. All right, I'll pick Pulse now. I'll pick you again later.
Alright.
Because yeah, I didn't really use that properly. Got a lot of friends that play, and they can teach me. That's great.
Best way to learn. Play with other people you know, especially if they've already played before.
Love to see how to play Ying at higher ranks. Well, I'm not the best Ying player out there, but yeah, she's great for executes. And I guess this is a term that not everyone would know about Rainbow, but execute is a term that's usually used to describe when the entire attacking
Secure the
team
area. Keep the bombs
coordinates
protected.
to do something, usually at the end of the round. So let's say you've got map control, you've killed all of the roamers,
Op 4 has located
and
a bomb.
you're ready to take the bomb site away, or maybe it's to get the plant down, to take the bomb site away from the defenders and kill those enemies. That's we usually refer to that as execute. And Ying, with her smoke grenades and her candelas, are really good for flashing players on site and smoking them so they can't help their teammates, and then executing and taking that bomb site away from them.
10 seconds left.
Not wrong. I was just getting a little sad moment because I caught a drone
5
with
seconds
my
and
pest,
counting.
and then our vigil shot it.
Oh no! The irony as well that it was
Not
Vigil,
bad.
who was
Located a bomb.
also a drone denial operator, that he shot your drone.
It's very true.
I just want to say, it warms my heart to see Asbag saying, "I'm glad you guys did Mute. Used to be a Capcan name, but now Mute is my favorite defender." That is lovely to hear, mate. That really is lovely to hear.
Mute is awesome, man. I love Mute.
He was actually the operator that I started playing the game on. That was before he had SMG 11 too.
Sensor deployed.
There's one outside cafe. The suppressor.
I'll come up and start playing with you.
They one on roof. I'm checking outside cafe. I don't see him outside cafe.
I got shot by my teammate.
It feels bad.
No, this feels bad.
Happens to the best of us. You know, some
I don't know
questions
whether
in
that was
chat. I think it probably was. It's alright. That was a whiff.
Loading new mag.
Alright, so I'm gonna go to chat. Tips on how to build map knowledge. That is a bit of a tough one because it does take a lot of time. When I try and learn new maps, what I do is I will change my training grounds map rotation in settings to be only the new map. And then I will just play that a lot on training grounds and try and run around it in different paths. So like I'll clear from, let's just say for example, west to east. And then after a few times that, I'll go east to west. And then top to bottom, bottom to top. It really helps you learn all the different pathings within the map and all the different rooms. And you start to get a bit of a natural feel for it. Then I feel more confident when I start to play it in matchmaking. It's one of the best ways to learn, in my opinion, because yeah, you're getting familiar with the map and then you're playing it more in matchmaking. It makes it a bit easier, but map knowledge is definitely tough. You just have to be patient with it.
Yeah, I can second that. Like what you're saying about using the training grounds as a way to learn new maps. If you just set it to one map at a time, even if you're trying to learn the entire map pool, maybe just decide which map you want to focus on and try and learn that for a start.
Absolutely. All right, well, we're a match point, Dev. I haven't really looked at the score, but I just realized we're a match point.
That's true. That's true. Very good. Very good. Well done, guys. We totally helped, I think. Maybe slightly. Somewhat. I had one good round on ACE, and that was it.
Oh. But you got to show some pulse. We didn't really talk about it much, but you were using pulse.
I used his gadget a bit. I actually died using his gadget, which is funny. I was trying to get info, and then someone Zafia'd the cafe door, and I didn't have time to get it down before she killed me.
Ah, damn, dude.
I know, rough, eh?
It is rough.
What I might do is I'll play pulse underneath this round, and I can call which direction they're coming from. I can call whether they're pushing from the balcony or whether they're pushing from waiting room to the east side, and I can even see portal.
Sounds good. Oh, that's really good wire. Kubernetes.
10 seconds remaining.
Got one drone.
5 seconds.
We talked a lot about droning today. Nope, this guy tried to team kill and he died.
Bomb location secure.
Right, shame that is. Right, shame. So we talked a lot about droning. We didn't really talk about how important it is for the defenders to try and shoot as many drones as possible. But it makes sense, right? If drones are really valuable, for the attackers, then the defenders should definitely focus on killing them as much as possible in the early round.
Absolutely.
Right? Just us two,
okay.
bro.
Our teammates are all just dying, dude.
Scanning.
Any info?
Cafe balcony and downstairs, I think.
One cafe balcony. He's alone.
Yeah.
Is that maybe yellow stairs? Yeah, I think I hear yellow.
Op 4 has located a bomb. You know what to do.
I whiffed.
Deploying sensor.
Yeah, top
on.
yellow on ping. Right on ping. Can you pre-fire that?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's a good use of
Bomb
pulse, boys.
diffuser in place.
Alright, I'm gonna go
Oh, they're
below and
planted.
kill him from below. I'm gonna kill him from below.
Okay.
Sensor activated.
Can't see
Numbers, they're
anyone
planted.
A. Oh, there is one on the roof above A, I think. I'm checking B now. Two on rappel
Yeah, rotate.
outside. Two on rappel outside. And one was roof.
You're located. Protect the bomb. Disable the diffuser.
I'm gonna try long arm. I've got this.
Nice! 2 versus 5 with only 2 kills. Oh no. Wow. I can't believe I got MVP for that as well. Not
True.
a well-deserved MVP, but hey.
Hey, we did well, man. That 2v5. We ended up getting top 2.
Yeah. I'm just glad that my my pulse actually like worked, and I got to actually demonstrate how to use pulse.
Yeah, that was perfect.
And that's the value of communicating with your teammates. Like I was kind of planning that I could throw a C4 and kill him, but he would have heard me because the sound of getting off the cardiac sensor and ripping a C4 is fairly loud. So that's why
You would have had to get it
so good.
You would have had to get it up and over the rail too, right? Because I don't think that floor is destructible.
No, it's not. I would have had to get it over the rail.
I know nobody saw it, but I just got a 2.3% alpha pack, and that's pretty cool.
Oh, well, I just got an alpha pack, but I didn't see the percentage.
Because I literally just opened one before we queued that game.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ooh, that is a sick skin. I am 100% using that. Holy dang. I'm taking a screenshot of that bad
Watching
boy.
it on the stream. Oh, it's only an uncommon as well.
That is such a cool.
Chimera one. Yeah, dude.
I'd forgotten about the Chimera uniforms.
Yeah, I really wish I grabbed more of the seasonal stuff earlier on.
I don't have any Chimera uniforms. I've got Blood Orchid and Monsoon. I am 100% going for that bad boy. That looks fire.
Who's it on? Ying.
Yes.
Cool.
I can continue to attempt
Nice.
Ying. And hey, look at this. Guess what? It's the map we wanted. Map we stratted on.
Been preparing our whole lives for this.
Oh, it's Living Library. I'm doing the LFO strat. Doing it 100%.
I'll play smoke with a shotty then.
Oh, I'm gonna go proxy alarm as well. I like never bring those. So there's a cute little team called LFO. They hail from the ANZ region. They played in 6 Masters. And they did this neat little strat on 7-7 match point overtime, full overtime, against Akami in the 6 Masters game on Villa. And they went to Living Library, which is the least common bomb site on Villa. They did this crazy strat with a castle, and it was awesome, and it worked, and they won, and I love it. So every time we get Living Library, I do that strat.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Also, Dev, you'll be glad to know somebody in chat appreciated what you just taught them for Pulse. So good job, man.
Hey!
Secure
Nice.
the area. Keep the bombs
They
protected.
learned that Pulse needs to move a lot and talk to their teammates.
Yeah.
More
Oh,
than
can you
should
not
by
reinforce
default.
that one, please, Jaeger?
Swapping mag!
That's alright.
Op 4
late.
located a bomb. Protect it.
We'll be fine.
Yeah, so with Pulse, you definitely want to remember that there's not a very large range on that gun. On the cardiac sensor. So you do have to be careful not to think that it's clear when people are actually a bit further away. So I highly recommend looking for positions where you can be close to hard walls that you can't get shot
5
through,
seconds left.
where you think people might be. So a great example is I was kind of hiding there behind
Op 4 has
a
located a
position where people would be on the balcony, on the cafe balcony, and I was trying to see through to see whether there were people around there on the balcony. That's what I highly recommend doing.
I was just marveling at the fact that Kali got a
Team kill.
shot team kill. Ooh.
So the strat here is that I've made rotates off-site so I can kind of control piano and the hallway and this objective in library. And I've got the castle barricades to protect me while I'm doing that. And I also
Very
have
protected.
I have proximity alarm at this window, so if they jump in, I'll know. I also can shoot the glass out of the window, which will mean that you can't actually hear through glass. You can only hear... So if the glass is intact, you can't hear outside. So now I can hear if they come that way.
I'm hearing a Monty.
Really, I'm actually going to move this proxy alarm.
I hear a dead Monty.
That's a dead Monty, is it?
Yeah. Are they pushing mud?
I just put a proxy alarm above the window in mud. Can you give tips on proxy alarms you're using, says Shane? Well, I kind of just said it, but yeah, I know that if someone jumps in this window, I really want to know because they'll be vulnerable. So I put one above that window. I originally had one above the window right here, but I thought no one was pushing there. I'm actually going to reinforce this so that people on that window can't get a line of sight into library as easily. I put the second one in mud window. Now I know there's probably someone in mud.
Red hallway.
Red hallway.
One friendly remaining.
I know he's not
Red
in mud
Hawaiian
though.
sheets. I don't have good cams. Oh,
I know he's
see?
not in mud though.
I think he's mud.
Or not
Yeah,
in the
mud.
window.
Right side. The other guy was sheets, potentially red stairs. I don't have a
1
cam.
on 4 remaining.
Oh, that proxy alarm was placed pretty badly because the range is really short. But if I'm patient here, I should be able to get a sound cue. Like
He's
that one.
planting.
The bomb
At breach.
diffuser.
Oh, Dev. Oh, oh,
I
you
win
scared
these,
me, bro.
mate.
Locate
I win
and
these.
disable it.
I could have sprinted faster, but I was worried he would take it and get up and kill
Diffusing
me.
device is disabled. Mission successful.
My take on proximity alarms, like you said, they do have short range, so they're really good for like above doorways. So it just gives away if someone comes in through the doorway. Or just like in a sneaky tucked away spot on a tight like corridor or something. Top of brown stairs here, for example. I know it's hard to visualize, but that's a good spot because they might not see it tucked in the corner near a vase or like on the shelving. Yeah, but they have some limited use, I would say, because that range does make it tough.
I think people are still learning it. Me in particular, I'm definitely still learning about where best to place
Absolutely,
them.
yeah.
So if, for example, if I put it behind that pot plant, maybe it would have been on the ground. Maybe it would have caught someone if they walked through the hallway, and I would have heard it go off when Sledge walked through there. Because I know he walked through there, but I know he didn't come from the window because I never heard the proximity alarm go off. We've got a lot of questions about
Secure
Six
the bomb.
Invitational qualifiers and seeding. Six Invitational is a very long time away, my friends. It is in 2021, which is at least 6 months away, so I don't believe there's any information about when the seeding show is or anything like that, but you may be referring to the upcoming mini-majors, which are happening for each region. So there's one for North America, one for Europe, one for Latin America, and one for APAC North, one for Oceania, which is Australia, New Zealand, Micronesia, Polynesia, and a couple of other island nations, and one for South Asia.
Down to 10 seconds.
Now, I don't believe there has been a lot of announcements about when those majors are yet. So I would recommend going and following the R6 Esports APAC,
Must protect your bombs
R6
from being
Rainbow
defused
Six
by Op
ANZ,
4.
and other channels for updates.
Magnet going out. Magnet online.
Here's a tip for you. If you destroy the banister, you get more...
Oh, I whiffed.
You can move across a bit more freely here. I recommend destroying the banister. It's always good.
I tried to spawn peek and I shot the shoulder.
Whoa, hello! That's
I
a
almost stole
Mario.
your kill.
I wouldn't have minded, to be honest. I was just happy to be alive.
Stay clear of the blast zone. Magnet's ready.
Bring my cross.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, I am now. I might whiff, though. I've been whiffing a lot tonight. But yes, I am covering. Oh, look at you.
It's the guy I spawn peeked as well. Finally got to finish him off.
Op 4,
Sledge dead.
last
Gamer.
operator standing.
I think the other one's near red stairs.
Everyone seems to
heard
think so. We're too good for them, mate. We're too good. Ooh, there's a black eye here. I will not destroy that pot plant then. Since we've got time, I'm going to show some other cool angles. Here's a great one I highly recommend using to take people from coming up brown stairs. Shoot this part of the floor open. You can see the bottom of the stairs. You can see if someone comes up, and you can shoot them in the behind. Highly recommended. Shooting people in the
90?
behind.
Throwing magnet.
Oh, hello! It's 90, 90, 90, Capital. Hey, he
Oh,
saved me.
I'm Pokemon in.
Hostiles
You saved my
eliminated.
life. I'm eternally grateful. Look at this Valkyrie. Absolute legend. So yeah, if you guys have any more specific tips or operators or gadgets that you'd like advice on, you know, shoot your shot and we will do our best to provide.
That we will. I'm gonna play some Kali. I'm super excited to play some Kali, man.
I'm gonna play Thermite so that we can combine our efforts together. Potentially open up some reinforced walls. Look at this, triple hard breach. We are steady spaghetti, we are.
There's no way that we won't have solutions to whatever we find. right?
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, I remember the question really early on when we were talking about droning. Someone asked about
We need
echo
to locate a
droning.
bomb.
Maybe when we jump back on defense next time, I can jump on the echo and try and give some tips about the yokai. Here's a good one from Grumpy Hot Dog. Any tips on when to
Fantastic
use
game, by the way, bro. Sorry.
tips on using Holo and ACOG when on attack? Well, I just switched, as you would have seen if you're watching the stream, to Holo from ACOG. And the reason is I didn't want to be too claustrophobic. If you're playing with a lot of teammates and you're going to be taking a lot of long angles, I recommend the ACOG. It can really be good to leverage that advantage. But
5 seconds before
I
insertion.
will just say regarding the holo, the great thing is it's just a bit more
must locate
versatile,
and
and a
defuse
lot
the
of the
bomb.
defenders have holos, or like one times. So if they are, wide swinging you and peeking really aggressively, it's easier to fight them in close quarters when they do that if you have a holo instead of an ACOG, and that's why I picked it here.
Now what side are they?
I assume it's stat, but I don't know. Could be not stat.
Might just be.
Well, only 2 of them left. We got this, boys.
Easy peasy.
Stat is not reinforced, so I don't think it is stat.
Maybe it's kitchen.
Is it kitchen?
Maybe.
I'm gonna drone aviator real quick.
That's not reinforced
Top
either.
4 last stop
It's
standing.
not aviator. I think it's kitchen. Must be.
I'm in kitchen. No, it's living.
It's living! Alright. I'll thermite the walls. I want to help. It's a 5v1. Better use
You
utility.
have located a bomb.
Yeah, I'm on site. I don't see them. He's shooting. Oh,
I was shooting some
Downstairs?
alibi devices. Oh, I hear her. Downstairs, is it?
might be coming your way, Dev. Got it.
Oh, you stole it!
4 eliminated.
The hunt was on, man. That was nuts.
I like flashed her and I was trying to pistol her. Oh, well played, well played. Alright, I reckon we can do one more.
Right.
I'll catch up on some of the chat. Saw Sledgemane from YouTube. Love your name, by the way. Said, hey man, found this on my recommended. I might start watching you more. Thank you very much. Me and Raven are here every Friday with Late Night Siege. We are doing this for Ubisoft Australia. This is their YouTube channel. And not only do we have Late Night Siege, but there's all kinds of other content on here, whether it's new seasons, the videos, the trailers for the new operators, etc. We also have a lot of esports activity on here as well. So highly recommend subbing on YouTube. You get notifications when we go live.
Yes.
Why do you think
I am,
Op4 left the match? That's a great question.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was just thinking about. I feel like he could see the future,
He knew that he was doomed.
Maybe even evidence of a time traveler. He's seen what's happened. He's like, oh, I can just leave now. Now is the best time.
Why is Tom Clancy sieging 6 rainbows? That's a great question, Adele. Look, I have actually only read a couple of chapters of Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, the actual book. And I still haven't found the part where they answer that question, Adele. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, 6 rainbows. Couldn't he have just stopped at 1? He's gone 6. That's like, oof,
It's a lot of rainbows to besiege.
a lot of rainbows. The real question is, how many pot of golds did they come with?
That's a good question. I don't know. I haven't gotten to the end yet, as I say. Get it? I'm hilarious.
Great one, dude.
Is there
Great
anything
one.
else I was going to play? I don't think there was. I'm going to try Yana.
You were meant to try some Ying, but I didn't have faith in your Ying plays, so maybe just don't.
Jeepers. I'm going to do it just because of that. So another one from Atheras is saying they just got the game 2 days ago, have 2 big problems: aim and learning the maps, which can't really answer by tips, but I'm learning what I can while here. Well, I mean, you might think that you can't necessarily answer those questions by tips, but I mean, I would dispute that. I think to some degree, obviously, practice is always going to make perfect when it comes to the mechanics of aiming and the memory of learning the maps, but you can get tips on how to learn maps. Raven mentioned earlier, if you change your playlist settings, so if you go options, I'll show you, and matchmaking preferences, you can't do it in-game, but if you click on here, you can change what maps you play in training grounds, and then if you set that to just one map, you'll really focus on learning that map. I highly recommend doing that and playing it against bots, learning all the rooms and everything. And as for aiming, really underrated is some of the techniques that people use to make sure their aim is in a good position. So we talked in last week's episode with It Style about mouse sensitivities and all that kind of stuff. I highly recommend watching that. There's some good tips. But also another thing is it's crosshair placement. So instead of walking around like how I'm looking now, where my crosshair is looking at the ground, all I'm going to be doing is shooting people's feet. If you just walk around, imagine that you're always aiming at head height. It's going to give you a significant advantage because when you finally aim down sights, you're already aiming nearly in the right position. Oh my goodness, I'm getting flushed.
Are your own things?
Oh, no, I got this, man.
I'm on site with you.
One over here.
I downed Doc. Oh my gosh. He's dead.
Alibi?
Oh, I shot.
No info last?
Yeah. I need to reload.
I don't.
Plant, you can just cover me.
Drone activated.
You buy it?
Yep, right on me.
One friendly.
Sausage.
Diffuser is online
Yeah,
and active.
sausage.
Oh no.
He's lit. Nice!
Oh, that's so scary.
Oh, what a huge play. So, I mean, I'm satisfied. But I'm satisfied that I demonstrated how to use Ying.
Okay, good.
I actually found a drone hole to throw the candelas through, and if you cook them, you change how long before they detonate. And you can also use the smokes to cover an angle so that you can enter, which is another thing I did. So that was fun. And Raven just taps heads with Carly, so yeah, that's that.
Yeah, although the headshot didn't register when I killed the Doc because it downed him first and I body shotted the second one. But, you know, close enough.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely not your fault or your aim's fault. I mean, come on. Definitely not.
Guess so.
Even though I was playing against you two and I knew we were losing, I'd have a crack at pulling it back. That is the right attitude to have. Good stuff, Asbag. Is there an actual Tom Clancy book? Tom Clancy was an author, and he wrote many books. He wrote books such as Rainbow Six.
Yeah, it was way before he was a pro player too.
Yeah, right. One of his most famous books is actually called The Hunt for Red October, which was made into a famous film, which has Sean Connery in it. So, yeah, Tom Clancy is a... he wrote the all kinds of Jack Ryan books as well, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, which has also been made into a TV show, which is a fantastic TV show.
Yeah. Look at these. They're running all these shotguns. I'm scared. I'm really scared.
5 seconds.
I lost my drone. Oh, you did too. Uh-oh.
I did.
I'm not demonstrating good drone economy here.
Yeah. No, really not. Ooh, can you Carly on ping?
As in my lance?
Yeah, lance it up, my dude.
It's the external wall you want, right?
Yeah. It's electrified. Oh, that did not get it, Chief. That did not get it.
It must be a Kaid core.
Bomb has been located.
We need to know where it is. I'll place it higher. I did not get it. I'll place it lower. Last chance. Uh-oh. Scrotal pain's in real pain. I got it, dude.
Op 4 last
You
operator
got it.
standing.
I'm reviving teammate. I'll prioritize.
I have kit, by the way. Look at
Oh
us
my
go.
lord, so much words.
Rogan is unstoppable. Look at him go. Finger pistol. Oh, he's nuts. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Do you boys reckon there will be more bands brought in for Pick and Ban? I don't know. I don't know what will happen. I can theory craft as to what would be good, and I think still at the moment, I don't know, I like the number of bands that we have at the moment, but I'm definitely open to the idea of increasing it. Speaking of, someone wanted Echo before, so I'll try some Echo.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we brought that up and then we didn't actually continue doing anything about it.
It's because we were on attack, bro.
Yeah, look. Hey. Don't blame me.
Look at this. This is what I like to see. Lots of ACOGs and lots of shotguns. This is the we don't want them anywhere near the building kind of lineup.
Yeah.
What time is 11 p.m. PDT in BST time? Look, Liam, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy
Secure the
your
bomb.
message and I'm going to paste it into Google and see what it says. And I'll read it out to you. Apparently, 7 a.m. There you go.
Really, bro?
The bomb. Protect it.
Finished reinforcing the wall!
I'm getting spotted.
Yeah, I got spotted too. I think I found it. I shot it.
Here's one trick with Echo, which you probably wouldn't see as much in Ranked or Pro League, but you can put them on windowsills and spawn peek with them.
Down to
So,
10
you know,
seconds.
I use that all the time.
You just have to be careful not to yeet it out the window
5
accidentally,
seconds
which
to
I
insertion.
always accidentally
Yeah.
do.
Throw it at an angle is the best way to
Op
do
4
it.
has located a bomb.
Gotta be careful not to lose signal though. You find the spot where you have signal, and then chuck it up top like so. Now I can see
One spawned where I
everyone
wanted them
outside.
to.
There's a blitz coming in bottom.
I think they
got
all
the
came
Echo.
though.
Hey, well, I'm
on
most
me.
definitely watching for that. Where are you?
Let's on me! Let's on me!
I'm coming, I'm coming.
Scared.
Just keep running, keep running, keep running.
Got him.
Oh my god, Raven. Oh, on the rappel.
Can you stim me, please, buddy?
I have a question. What happened to House? It looks hella different. It was reworked. Oh, feels bad, man.
Cheers, bro.
One for you, one for me. This is the House rework, released with Operation Steel Wave. Nope, nade, I think that is.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
her last nade.
Oh, he was there. Damn.
You got oofed, mate. You got oofed.
I did get it.
When do we start streaming? Every Friday at 8 p.m.
One friendly
AEST.
remaining.
I still don't have this the chrome colored gun attachment skin. I really want that one.
The bomb diffuser has been successfully
Is that from the battle
deployed.
pass?
I believe so, yeah. I've seen a lot of people running it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need to get my hands on that battle pass.
Me too. I think it actually ends soon, right? I have to double check that.
I'm scared. I want to make sure I don't miss out. I believe in this
Oh,
dog.
he's prone.
Oh,
Four
he's
last
injured. He
op-
got
Oh,
injured by the
that's
Capcan
big.
trap. The last one was the planter. Where did he plant?
The corner where I planted.
Oh!
There it is.
Mission failed.
That's
Scary.
a great
Friendly
corner.
It
neutralized.
is a great corner. You don't expect anyone in there. Cheeky little spot.
A statement slash question. So my friend told me shotguns aren't great. Is this a true statement? I'd assume not, because I've seen a lot of them in our gameplay.
Shotguns. Look, the main reason you'll see people run shotguns on operators like Smoke is because, and Mira here as a secondary shotgun, is because you can remodel the objective. You can make rotation holes. It's really important to be able to get to the objectives as a defender and rotate between them. So that's primarily the reason a lot of people would bring them. But also, in certain situations, they are really strong. The problem with shotguns is that if you're taking a long-range fight and the attacker has an assault rifle with an ACOG or a one-time sight, and you're trying to kill them with a shotgun, yeah, that ain't gonna work. But it's all about situation. It's all about making sure that you know when you can use that shotgun and playing around it. So, you know, if I'm playing in here with the shotgun and I'm trying to kill someone with the shotgun, instead of trying to peek the window, I wait until they come inside and then I peek them because I know they're going to be close to me.
Be advised, a bomb location has been compromised.
Wall reinforced!
10 seconds to insertion.
Shotguns are good though.
Seconds and counting.
Sorry, delay on the uptake there, but I like shotguns.
It was like, were you doing the Get Smart theme?
I think it was. Yeah, I think that was the one I was doing.
I watched so much Get Smart when I was growing up. So much.
It just came out automatically.
Reinforce this wall with a mirror window.
Reinforce the wall!
I can C4 if they put more on.
Changing mags!
Ooh, there's someone above. Is that entry hole now? Raiden?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
No, they can't.
Oh,
Or did we not rear that?
great shot.
Oh, that's an entry hole.
Oh no, it got shut open.
Op 4, last operator standing.
Changing mags!
Op 4 has located a bomb. You know what to do.
Where is he? If you just found
He's some
A.
kids. Or bathroom? Like that hallway to your left, maybe?
Yep, that's him.
He pushed bathroom. Go, Dev, go!
That's when you use a shotgun, mate. That's how you use a shotgun. Oh my god, that was terrifying. I had one pellet left in the shotty as well.
Oh, dude.
That's one way to end the game. I'll take that. I will take that. Well, that was a pretty good game, hey?
It was. Yeah, it was.
I actually feel like this is probably the most tips we've actually fitted into a session at Quick Match.
Probably was, to be honest, yeah.
Right on, that was
we
great.
only did 3 maps as well.
Yeah, true. I'm gonna bring us back.
Alright.
So,
I'll put my pants on.
yeah, cheers. I mean, I decided to give you the respect of not even asking this time. I mean, I assumed that you would just know what to do.
Yeah.
So, wow, that was a crazy good episode. We covered so much ground tonight. We talked about droning, everything from how to drone in the prep phase, what to do with your drone in the prep phase, and what not to do. We covered flank watch drones and preset drones. We covered live droning, which is I mean, we only touched the surface of that, but I think that we definitely covered some of the important factors. We talked about countering droning, countering the counters to droning. And then the problem solving, we also spent quite a long time on, and that was, I definitely think people got a lot out of that too.
Yeah, it's been a really good episode in terms of the depth and details that we've been able to get into. And I've really enjoyed it. Droning is especially a topic that I love talking about. So
Same.
If we had all of the time and all of the questions and stuff, I would answer every single one and talk about it for so long. Because it is such a good part of the game that I think a lot of people underestimate is probably the best way to look at it.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, what was great is we also got to put it into practice in quick match, and I think we actually did. When
Yeah.
I was droning, I was droning like I was playing solo queue, playing seriously, trying to win, and we did some good problem solving as well. So, yeah, definitely a great episode. We're back every week, every Friday at 8 p.m. AEST. If you are on a different time zone, just chuck it into Google, 8 p.m. AEST, see what that comes out for your time zone. But yeah, thank you for everyone, to everyone who's joined us tonight and every week recurring. Sometimes we have guests on, sometimes it's just me and Raven. You get to hear our beautiful voices and see our handsome faces. We'll keep you updated on what the episode topic will be for next week. If you go to Rainbow Six ANZ on Facebook, we also have Twitter, but we also have Facebook and Instagram and all that jazz as well. If you want to follow on Twitch, Rainbow Six ANZ, you'll get a notification when we go live. Likewise for YouTube, and I think it's the bell icon, you click that, that's what everyone says, right? So highly recommend you guys do that. We were covering so much stuff, there's an endless pit of possible things to talk about for Rainbow Six, so I don't think we're ever going to run out of stuff to show tips about.
No, we could go on for ages. There's always going to be a lot of things to learn about Rainbow Six. It's always evolving as well, so as every season comes by, there will be new operators and changes to the game in some way or another. So yeah, that's the thing about Rainbow Six. It's an endless opportunity to learn new things and improve and find fun in different ways.
Yeah. And one more thing, the Battle Pass, we talked about that. That's closing soon, so highly recommend jump on that. I know I still have to... I've been completing the Battle Pass, but I haven't actually purchased it yet. I actually need to get back on the grind and finish the Battle Pass as well, because I really want those skins. But yeah, thanks to everyone who's watched tonight. Raven, is there anything else I've missed that you want to jump in before we close?
No, I don't think so. Obviously stay tuned for those mini majors. I mean, it was briefly touched on in the chat, but that's a really exciting thing coming up for Rainbow Six. So yeah, definitely keep an eye out for those. And yeah, just come back next week because I'm sure we're going to have some really cool stuff.
Definitely. Well, if you want to stay up to date with everything me and Raven are doing, you can follow our Twitters, Devmarta High for me, Raven_casts for Raven. You're actually on that side. I keep pointing the wrong direction. And Rainbow Six ANZ, of course, for everything that Ubisoft is doing here in ANZ. Rainbow Six APAC, or R6 Esports APAC is the wider APAC region. There's like a million different Rainbow Six accounts, so you can follow them all so you get all the news and you're never left in the dark. But that's all from us for this week. We'll be back next Friday, 8 p.m. AEST. But until then, have fun and we'll see you then.